Well. Hello there.
What's going on? I'm pretending I'm Stevie Wonder.
All right, Stevie Wonder, you can stop shaking your head now.
That's good. I was getting dizzy anyway. Hey, what's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
Holy shit, somebody stopped the world. Let me get off.
Oh, you're right. Dizzy. I get it now.
I think I got it under control.
Damn, how long was I off the air for? Like since Saturday last week?
No, I think it's
Didn't we do one Saturday?
2.5 months.
No.
Yeah, it's been about 2.5 months.
Pretty sure it was Saturday.
I'm going with 2.5 months, and I'm sure a lot of people will back me up on that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It sure freaking felt like 2.5 months. Holy crap. That was a crappy schedule I had to work.
Well, better you than me.
Location was beautiful. I ain't going to lie about that. You ever been to Durango?
Have not. The only place in Colorado I've ever been is Denver.
Oh, man. Durango is very scenic. Mountains anywhere you look, you got mountains. And so for that, it was awesome. But the work schedule there is brutal. And I don't know, and maybe I'm spoiled so much by all the other little places we go to. This was a bigger station, a bigger airport. And all the other ones we go to are very, a flight or two a day.
So my next question is, how much ass did you lose?
Probably a bit, yeah. Probably a bit. Yeah.
That's good.
And then, but it was at nighttime. I worked nights mostly, and it was pretty cool. Sucks. Pretty cool in the evenings. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible.
So I went to work today.
Oh, that's right. How did that go? Hey, Hungry Hippo.
Well, I made a bonus today. So, hi, Hippo. So with my bonus and tips, I made $53 an hour.
Holy crap.
Without my bonus, I made 32 something an hour. Well, I worked 6.5 hours. So, I mean, yeah, I made a touch over. I think I made like $43.
Hey, Oscar.
So, yeah, but the one thing that pisses me off about going back to work?
What, the fact that you got to work?
No. I didn't make it to Nappy Town today. Nappy Town's a great place. A lot of amazing shit happens in Nappy Town.
Nappy Town is awesome.
Nappy Town is a wonderful fucking place.
I've been to Nappy Town a couple times today, actually.
Well, I didn't make it there today. It kind of pisses me off, but I think I'm going to work again tomorrow, so no Nappy Town tomorrow either. Damn it, Jim. I'm giving her all she's got. I can't give her any more, Captain.
Yeah, and we had a lot of crap happened all this time. I wasn't on the air. How many times did you go on? Did you go on twice or just once?
Just once, and we talked about gas hoarding, and then a day or 2 days later, I can't remember which. Wouldn't you know it? And we talked about this. Putting gasoline in approved items. Like mayonnaise jars, Kool-Aid jars. Oil drums. These things have to be vented because I said this before. If they're not vented, those fumes can't escape, and you have a fucking bomb on your hands. Well, then you have these cars that I got in an accident and my car blew up because I had 500 gallons of gas in the trunk in like Walmart bags or Kool-Aid containers. I mean, how fucking ignorant can you be?
I saw that lady, and this is an old video. The one of her trying to fill up these Walmart kind of shopping bags, plastic regular bags.
And it's leaking out the bottom.
And it's leaking. Every freaking one is leaking out the bottom.
Yeah.
Dang hilarious.
Casket sharp. And I'm sure this one had to be a joke. It has to be a joke. It was a picture. It wasn't a video or anything. It was a picture of a woman trying to put gasoline in a laundry tub that has holes throughout the whole entire fucking thing. It's got like daisy designs on the sides, and you can see right through the motherfucker. And here they took a picture of this woman trying to put gasoline in it. It had to be a joke, but when you look at it, it's like, some motherfucker out there is going to try it.
That had to be fake.
It had to be.
Well, how much gas you gonna put in there? About this much? That little ridge on the bottom, a couple inches maybe. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. That had to be a fake one. You know what? They didn't need to make fake ones. There were enough real ones that were idiotic.
Right. Sweet
Lordy.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
The mentality of some of these people, I can't imagine. I can't imagine it. I don't know how they live through life every day.
Well,
Ozzy, Manny, the major guest.
I say this a lot. I'm not the most intelligent motherfucker out there in the world, but I claim to have a whole lot of common sense. And if you got common sense, that's all you really need to make it through life without killing yourself or somebody else.
Like I said in the past, I've said this a lot since this pandemic started. Common sense ain't so common anymore. It's really not. It's a rarity. It's a luxury. Yo, man, is with a major gas crisis here in the valley. Mostly just idiots, but still a big crisis. Yeah, I know. I was looking for that crisis where I was in Colorado, and nothing, not even close. Nothing of a crisis. Nothing. And I think there are people out there that were trying to start a panic for whatever the reason.
It's the extremists, It's the people that, I have to buy every goddamn case of toilet paper I see. I have to buy every little thing of tuna fish I can get my hands on. All the Cambo soup, whatever it is, I got to buy it all because it's the end of the damn world. So it's your extremists out there forcing panic buying.
Yeah, the only crisis they might have almost had was on the East Coast.
Yeah,
just on the East Coast.
And I get that, the gas pipeline was shut down. They're not getting the gas that they need, except what's being trucked in. Hey, Mel. And there's not a whole lot of trucks, or, I guess some of it comes in on like barges, and then it's got to be pumped off the barges. But even so, the fastest and the safest way to get it anywhere is through pipeline. Why pedophile Joe has to shut down the damn pipeline that they're building from Texas to Canada is beyond fucking me. But, that's the safest way to ship anything because, you're not going to have a barge and next thing you know, you have 100 million gallons of crude oil escaping into the damn ocean.
Exactly.
Killing all the marine life. You
flip a couple of switches or turn a couple of valves and now you got a gazillion gallons flowing per minute,
Yeah. Hi, Hilda. Carol, I seen you pop in. Manny was talking. Hi, Carol.
Did you see the little baggie at Osmo had? It said $20. Supposedly it was gas. I thought it was pee. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, there's another meme going around. A little baggie full of like gasoline. It's only for $20.
But knowing Massimo, I'm sure it was pee. No, I'm just joking. I fuck with him like that though.
Being his little never mind, I'm not gonna go there. Crazy on Tuesday, people panicked. Hey Elizabeth.
I know,
I don't understand it. Some people and I was hoping it wouldn't hit Texas or the valley in particular, but you got some people that just make a mountain out of a little molehill. Is that how you say it? Right. And there was never going to be a crisis. Like I said, if there was one, it was strictly on the East Coast. It was not going to be the only
pipeline they shut down. But I skimmed an article, I think it was today, maybe it was yesterday. That pipeline, Colonial Pipeline or whatever it was called, I can't remember off the top of my head, said that they paid millions of dollars to those hackers to get
I read that. You read that yesterday. I could not friggin' believe it. I could not friggin' believe it.
I'll tell you, if Trump was still in charge of this country, that shit wouldn't have happened.
Unbelievable that we paid fucking, excuse my French, excuse my BAM language, that we paid a freaking ransom. I cannot believe we paid a freaking ransom. It's like right out of a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nope. They're not deceiving you. Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Yeah, Manny took 2.5 month vacation. He took a hiatus for 2.5 months.
It was 7 days, and it was not a fun 7 days. I'll tell you that much. I think it was 7 days. Maybe it was less.
It wasn't even a sabbatical. It was a hiatus.
It was not even a hiatus. It was a couple of days off. But it did feel like freaking forever. I'll tell you that much. Welcome, Melissa. We had a horrible storm today in Edinburgh. We got some of that rain in Brownsville too. It rained a little bit. It wasn't.
Well, honey,
bad.
you live in Ireland. All it does is rain over there every day of the year, except 3 days.
Bam!
It's something you got to deal with.
She means Edinburgh, Texas. There's Edinburgh in Texas.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd much prefer Ireland. At least they got a cool accent to listen to. Unlike, hey y'all, going to the mall, yaunt to.
HEB on Boca Chica lowered the price 10 cents. I noticed last Saturday at $2.79 for unleaded. I haven't checked prices. Where is gas at where everybody is?
My shit up here is $3.25 where I live, but in the city of Chicago, it's right at $5 a gallon.
Oh, very kind of you, Carol. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I miss talking to you people. That's why when you did your live on Wednesday, was it? I had to chime in a little bit.
It was Wednesday. Yep, he was in here making sure I didn't talk about and give away pertinent information about Sylvia Atkinson, other than she being a hoe and trying to make a deal.
Which there is information, and it's not a lie. I'm just not ready to.
So she's sleeping around trying to make this deal? I mean, who's she sleeping with?
I don't think many people want to sleep with her, to be honest with you.
Oh, so she's got to pay people to sleep with her.
She's singing like a canary, put it that way. So she's going down, kicking and screaming.
I still hope they throw the goddamn book at her and go, hey, Linda. Well, we were going to give you 38 years, but since you worked with us, we'll go ahead and give you 32 years.
Yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be a lot sweeter than that.
Well, I'm sure.
Taking time out? No, it was a work assignment. It was a very busy work assignment, and it wasn't a great work assignment. I mean, the place is good, the people are nice, but the assignment itself was a little rough.
Hey, Linda.
So, if it was a timeout, I'd probably still be doing lives from wherever I went.
No, next time Manny takes a hiatus, I'm going to turn him around and put his nose in a corner.
Yeah, he's going to give me a timeout. Hey, Marissa.
Marissa!
How are you tonight, Marissa? How's Louie doing in the family? Hope everyone's doing well. My brother has something on Facebook, and I'll send to you right after the interview with Roy. Cool. We got Roy coming up in just a few minutes. He's not late.
Roy!
I just wanted to get a little time with you guys and a little bit with Bam before we continue tonight. Yes, Texas. Yep, Edinburgh, Texas. Tornado warnings in Hidalgo County. It got dark. It was freaking thundering and stuff over here. We didn't get a lot of rain today in Brownsville, but it rained a lot. I mean, it thundered a lot. 3 hours nonstop. Holy crap.
That's a lot of damn rain.
Yeah, it is a lot of rain. Drown secrets? Yeah, maybe.
I got a secret. Are you ready for it? Roy, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can.
Oh, Lordy. We started with a tornado watch, and not even 5 minutes later, tornado warning. Dang.
I got to have some fun in my life. I missed y'all.
Hello,
I only seen you once. Oh, my God. I love that bird, Shonda.
I like that bird, too. Oh, man. What's up, David? I was about to ask where Roy is, but you answered before I could ask. No problem, man. He'll be here in just a few minutes. Man, are you the one working on something? Perhaps. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Wonder how much rain we got in Mission. How far is Mission from, let's see, who got the rain? Hidalgo County got the rain?
I've heard of Mission, Texas.
Hidalgo, sorry. Yeah.
I've heard of it. Never been there, but I've heard of it.
Just past McAllen, right? Yeah, up that way. Well, Mighty said we're doing well. Thank you. Madison says he didn't say hi to me, Mom. Oh, Louie, Madison too. Hi, Madison. I know all about you, Madison. Yep. I know all
Madison's
about
the
you.
Troublemaker.
Oh, look, he says hello, gays.
Well, I think it's supposed to be guys. Like, hey, you guys.
Yeah, I'm sure he meant.
What movie is that from?
That was Goonies.
It was. And did you know?
Look at the Goonies, yeah.
You probably didn't know, but in South Bend, Oregon, there is a bar called Goonies.
No way.
Oh yeah, there is. And I had to walk. And Goonies actually a bird, if you didn't know. But I had to walk in, and I opened the door, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys!" And everybody turns and look at me, and I'm like, "What? You never heard that before in your life?"
So it's called Goonies, and they don't know why it's called Goonies. It's probably from the movie, I would hope.
No, it's actually a bird. A Goonie is a bird.
No, real?
Yeah,
Where's Kodak sleeping?
he is.
Probably. We'll get him out next week. Check out 5x5 Brewing in Michigan. What's up, Angel? How you doing, man? All righty. We are ready to welcome our guest tonight. Roy, you ready back there?
We are. I wasn't ready. Keep his ass in the corner. I'm not ready. I haven't had my fill of people yet.
Too late.
You haven't yet? Yeah, too late now, man.
What's up, Roy?
Hey, Bam.
How you doing, Mr. De Los Santos?
I am excellent tonight. How you doing, man?
Well, your internet's kind of freezing
I don't think.
up there.
Yeah, your internet's a little whacked tonight.
That's and I've seen it doing that to me, and I don't know why. I've got a gigabyte where I'm at. I'm at a fiber property.
Are you at a? Are you wired or are you going Wi-Fi?
I'm on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you should always go wired if you can.
Yeah, it's always better. Kind of like the hardware into the software type situation.
Yep.
Because it is freezing up every few seconds.
One second. Let me see if I can grab a cable and connect.
Okay, I'm going to put you offline for a minute. I'll watch you down there, and me and Bam will keep going here, right?
That works. Thank you.
Oh, we're
all
back.
right. There, Bam. You got your few minutes back here.
I got my people again. Yay!
That's right, Justin Gravity. Yeah, it's a Wi-Fi thing. It's always better. Internet's always better. Wi-Fi isn't always great.
It's not.
And when you use Wi-Fi, I don't know if you know this or not, you lose about 50%. You lose about half of your speed when you go Wi-Fi.
You really do. So I got to talk about some of these stupid ass commercials out there, especially this Amazon one, where they're sitting here on their phone going, "Wow, that's a low price," and then next thing you know, a woman pops out the shower and goes, "Wow, that is a low price." And then you got two kids in the same bathroom going, "What's a low price?" And then they click to a woman hanging in a tree from a parachute, and she's on the phone and she drops like 2 feet. She goes, "Wow, that's a low price." I mean, how fucking stupid can these commercials get? I mean, anybody else got an issue with stupid commercials like that, or is it just me? It must be just me.
I might have to look that one up.
Because evidently you have no comment. Why is that? Because you don't watch TV.
I don't watch network TV. Just very little of it. Hungry Hippo, he'll be back in just a minute. Silly Bam. I don't watch commercials over network news if I can avoid it. Or network news. Yeah, same here. There's
I
nothing
try
on
not
there
to,
anymore.
but there's some TV shows that I like watching, like Grey's Anatomy. I'm back into that damn show again after I don't know how many years I took off of it.
Grey's was a good show. It's one of the last good ones to be on TV. That was a good show. To me, the end all be all of the primetime comedy was Seinfeld. And
I thought that shit was stupid. Although I did like Elaine.
It was supposed to be.
I did like Elaine. She was a bitch. I liked her. Elaine was cool.
Elaine Bennis. Amazon is stupid to begin with. Yeah, they have good prices on stuff, and it's quick.
Yeah, I'd rather have it much come to me than me come to it.
So, the other thing we can talk about just a little bit before until Roy fixes the situation there.
Yep.
Walmart dropped its face mandate yesterday.
They did.
I know you guys read this already.
Due to the CDC announcement. Or the DCC, or whoever the fuck they are.
CDC, the Center for Disease Control, put the announcement out. The people that know everything over there, right?
Oh, yeah. Them and their infinite wisdom.
That now, if you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask. So that came out the day before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like 3 days old. But, it's common fucking sense. If you're fully vaccinated, you shouldn't have to wear the motherfucker to begin with. That's common goddamn sense.
Well, the problem there is like, okay, how is everyone going to walk around with a freaking star on their head, vaccinated,
tattoo or some shit,
or a tattoo, or a card, or a lanyard? Showing your lanyard, like Wayne's World. Remember Wayne's World? When
maybe they'll put a chip in your fucking hand and you just wave it. Yeah, vaccinated. Good to go.
You remember when they had the backstage pass to go see Alice Cooper, and they're walking around the hallway? Yeah, ticket. Here's my ticket. Backstage pass. Is that what we're gonna get to now?
That must be a Seinfeld thing.
No, a Wayne's World.
Oh, another stupid movie.
Okay, Roy, I see you down there.
I can't believe Keanu Reeves was that stupid and did that movie.
Really, Carol? No Amazon? It's good. It's so good. It's addicting, kind of.
It is, but you know how much shit comes from China from Amazon? About 60%.
Yeah, but they sell the regular name brand stuff. You can get it there either a little cheaper, but definitely quick. Like you can get it in a couple days right to your house. And that's why Amazon's good. Now, if you live in a large community like Chicago, Dallas, Houston, they'll even deliver to you the same day. It'll come in a couple hours.
Yeah, you can order your groceries from Amazon now. The motherfuckers be at your door in like 2 hours, knocking on your door, delivering your groceries.
That's cool.
Well, fuck, Instacart's the same thing. Instacart will even deliver alcohol for you.
Oh, yeah. Did that once before, just once. My favorite TV moment might be the Whose Line Is It Anyway episode with Richard Simmons, side splitting. Whose Line Is It Anyway has been hilarious. That was freaking funny.
I like Richard Simmons, even though he's like way too gay to function. Yeah, I mean, he's worth a good laugh every so often.
Oh, he's super gay.
Yeah, way too gay to function.
He's uber gay.
Uber gay.
There's a word beyond flamboyant. What is it? But you know what? It's because he's a funny dude. He's a funny guy.
He is funny.
He's funny on TV.
And you know, I'm gay. Y'all know that. But you know, I hate the over the top, flamboyant, in your face gay motherfuckers. God, do they get under my skin? I just want to reach across whatever it is and slap them. I'll go, oh my God, can you get any more gayer?
So don't tell me you didn't like Liberace. You guys know who Liberace is?
Oh, I couldn't stand that motherfucker. You like my fur? You should. You bought it.
Did you guys see the movie with it was Michael Douglas and Matt Damon? It was called Beyond the Candelabra.
Yeah, it was a good movie, actually. I mean, Michael Douglas did a hell of a gay Liberace.
If you haven't seen that movie, well, I don't know if you want to check it out or not, but it's a Brokeback Mountain-ish, but not. I don't know if that was a good way to put it.
It wasn't quite that gay. I mean, they only had sex in the candelabra once.
It's a movie of the story of Liberace, famous piano player, very flamboyant, very. I mean, he was a showman. People like to watch him because he could play the piano. First of all, no doubt about that.
Very good classical pianist.
Yeah, but he was a big Vegas act. He was very flamboyant.
He would drive a Rolls Royce out on stage.
And the outfits that he wore, all diamonds and mirrors or whatever it was. I mean, look him up. He was the next best thing next to Elvis.
Yeah, he come out wearing I want to say it was an all-white fur coat. And this motherfucker had a 7-foot train on it. I mean, it was dragging behind him. And he comes like, you like my fur? You should. You bought it.
And he, okay, I'm going to look up a photo of, I'm trying to find that fur. No, it might be
white. I want to say it was white. Or it was kind of like white with black spots on it. God, it was so long since I seen that. I mean, that was back in the 70s. We were flipping through the channel at home on with mom and dad. And that stopped right there. And dad says, oh, wait a second. I want to see this guy.
Here, I found this picture. I wonder if this is the fur you're talking about. Of course, it's gay influence website. There you go.
That is the fur.
I think that's the fur.
And that's his boyfriend standing to his right there.
Yeah. So yeah,
and that's
he'd
the
come out
Rolls
with
Royce
that.
that he drove on stage.
He drove it on the friggin' stage, got out of it, and then they drove it off. He went to his grand piano, which was usually white. It was a white grand piano. Anyway, that was awesome. A couple of more messages here. Hang on a second. Oh, let's see. I think we got Roy back. Hang on one second. Yeah, right. Hey there, my friend. How are you?
I'm
Hey there. Are we
good.
back?
How do I look now?
You look
Actually,
great.
I think much
No,
better.
you look good.
Good.
We
It's an interesting configuration because my cords were not necessarily long enough. So my computer screen is actually to my right, but the camera is right in front of me.
There you go. There he is, Ozzy. He was having a little bit of technical difficulties. Made some reconfigurations to the internet.
It's testicle difficulties, not technical. It's
Testicle difficulties? Yeah.
Yes.
No difficulties with the testicles.
I don't know if you guys saw that meme that I put up the other day. I saw that in New Orleans when I was there last week. It said you don't know. I said until a mosquito bites you, stings you on your testicle, that you can fix a problem without violence.
I seen that and I'm like, oh my God, that's a true fucking story right there.
Because you're not going to swat it when it's on your nut. Okay, sorry.
I don't know. Some people are into that.
I'll look it up, Shonda. Let's see. Eddie Lee, let's see. It's so funny. So many people are homophobic. It is. It's right now. It's funny. Before it was like, I don't know if it was ever angering, or maybe it's angering now. It was funny before, but now it's done already.
I'm fucking sick of the government shoving it down my damn throat, and I'm gay. I mean, can we just go back to the don't ask, don't tell situation? Because I mean, that was better than the damn government shoving it down your fucking throat every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I get you. I don't know. I think I don't know why that has to matter to anybody. It's like, you know what? Go get a life. Do something with yourselves. There's more important issues on this planet than so-and-so is gay or whatever.
Seriously, let's talk about the pipeline and a pedophile fucking president. That's pretty big fucking issues there.
Yeah, so you've got other problems there. Hey, good evening, Nadia.
Hey,
Paul,
Nadia.
Welcome. It's okay. We're just getting started with Paul here. Shauna says, you look marvelous. Welcome to alrighty. Roy, how have you been? How have you been the last couple of weeks since the election day?
I've been excellent, working very hard every day at it. Some of the other elected officials recommended I take a week off and then hit it hard after that, but I went to work that very next morning.
Because that time will fly by, won't it?
Absolutely.
When is that? June is it 17th or 19th?
June 19th is the actual runoff date. Early voting is June 7th through 15th. Monday through Saturday, no voting on Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday. And it's pretty much the same schedule as during the general election. I believe it's 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and then 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday and Tuesday of early voting.
So early voting June 7th through the 15th.
Correct.
Okay.
So you said the runoff election is June 19th.
Right.
Is that the same day where that's Juneteenth?
I believe so.
That's kind of like a little ironic.
Hope it's a good omen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know we had been in touch here and there, and going to reach out to Jessica as well, and I'll get her on here as long as she's willing. I'm sure she will be sometime this week. That word keeps getting thrown around. We talked about before. Elite, the phrase, the elite.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
And I know today you had a little exchange with the mayor online about enjoying the day and having your pizza.
Yes.
So I'm waiting for all those little clips to come out and start with all their, with all the crap of. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you mean, and honestly, and the reason we went to Dodici today, and I took the team that's been working with me to handle voter registration at the farmers market, and these guys are phenomenal. I took them out to lunch today. Last weekend after farmers market, we went to lunch and we were at Toscafino because it's in District 3. And I try and check in anytime I'm at an establishment in the district. And so we took a picture and posted it. and one of the folks in my party had ordered pizza. So, and Trey and I have a really good rapport. So he'll get a little dig in every now and then if he sees me eating pizza from somewhere other than Dodici.
Yeah.
So that's how that started. It started last week. And after that, I'm like, now, next Saturday we'll be at Dodici, even though it's in District 4. But I told him I expect to see a Dodici branch in District 3 in the near future.
Yeah, I'm like, as anyone in business who had a restaurant, I'm sure they would try to make that happen because that'd be a good move to be out there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So what are you doing? Are you going to do anything different this time around? I know it's like a whole other election process, another campaign process.
Yep, I'm
Is
definitely.
Is it a continuation, or are you going to just start over again?
It's a continuation, but we are absolutely ramping up the outreach. We've got a bigger network than we had during the general election. We're doing a lot more outreach by social media, and there will be some block walking as well. One of the big things we've seen as the network's expanding is the more folks that get to meet me face to face, the more folks that see me online on either podcasts or forums. There's folks who I did not know who are reaching out to me, advising that they really like what they heard, they like what they see, and they want to know what they can do to help support the campaign. So I'm very, very encouraged every day. More and more new people are reaching out, and I feel very positive about that. So I think we're on the right track.
Yeah, Paul there. Paul is in District 4. How may I help out Roy? Well, that's very nice. He wants to help. You got a fan right there, too.
Definitely just pass the word out, Paul. Friends, family, neighbors, anyone who might be in District 4. And then on social media, just share as many posts as possible, especially podcasts like these. A lot of folks who are expressing their support for me say once they hear me speak, they're convinced. So I think the more people that get a chance to see me in action, the better off we'll be. And it will take everyone coming out and everyone working together to make this happen.
And I heard that quite a bit. And, somebody asked me earlier in the week, and I wanted to say, I'm not going to choose or favor anyone. It's not in my district, so I can't vote. I have someone who I like, but in this case, we've got two very, very intelligent candidates, two very capable candidates. And it's tough. So I would urge everyone to, please spend your due diligence and listen to all the issues from each one. Don't just pick one little thing that you don't like and then run with that. Like I've been seeing a lot the last couple of weeks. And so you have a certain crowd that is concerned with the LGBTQ task force and what you're doing there and how much of that you intend to push. My feeling is that they're trying to convince everyone that you intend to turn Brownsville, rainbow colored or gay.
Yeah. You want to make every resident gay.
Because that's the agenda of gay people, is to convert everyone. So somebody comes to you and says, you know what's going on with this task force thing? Why? I guess, first of all, I don't know if this was ever talked about. Was there something that happened that Brownsville said, you know what, we need to have a task force because something happened? Was there a series of events or something that happened that...
I think there were a series of events, but the most important thing to say is because I know I've heard some of my detractors out there saying, well, that Roy is one of the original architects of the task force and one of the founders of the task force. Nothing could be further from the truth. I had nothing to do with the organizing of this, but as I understand it, and I don't know all the history because I wasn't there, so I can't speak about it firsthand, but a series of incidents. And so folks in the LGBTQ community reached out to the city manager's office and the city commission, started a dialogue. And after I don't know how long of a period of time, got to the point where they felt the task force was in order. Important because I've heard this from other people. Why don't we have a task force for infrastructure? Why don't we have a task force for this? Why don't we have a task force for that? It's very important to understand the hierarchy here. Task force is bottom of the barrel, entry level. If a committee, a board, all of those things have way more clout. A task force has a very narrow mandate and scope of what they're supposed to do, report back to the commission. And once their task is done, then it's expected that they will either evolve to a board if the need is there, or that the task force will be done and turn in a final report.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the task force goes, whenever it finally was established, I think it was December of 2018. No, I take it back. December of 2019. And then in March of 2020, the appointments were happening. And the commission, as they do now with many boards, they each have one pick for a seat on boards that are 7 members. And I believe Commissioner Munguia was absent from that meeting. So the only vacancy left was for District 3. If anybody goes back to the March meetings of 2020, you'll see the list of everyone who applied to be considered for appointment. My name is nowhere on that list. I had not even applied for consideration for the board at that time. After the initial appointments were made, when I saw the one vacancy was for District 3, there were only a couple of names on there from District 3. There were several other people, but from District 3 proper, there were only 2 applicants. So I reached out to Commissioner Munguia, and I told him, I said, you know, I've got more than enough on my plate with several of the community boards that I'm on, and I was on one city board at the time. But I told him, if you don't have someone who you feel would be strong on this task force and would represent District 3 well, I'm willing. I said, but by no means am I asking for you to give this to me over anybody else. If you've got another candidate, I fully support it. But after a conversation with Commissioner McGee, he says, no, I'd like you to be my pick for District 3. And that's how I ended up. I was appointed in April of 2020. And very proud of that. But I was not involved with the task force prior to April 2020. And there's a lot of legwork that went into it being established and it being founded. I don't deserve the credit. I would accept it proudly because I think in the end, it's going to be a great thing for the community and for Brownsville as a whole. But I should not be credited because there's a lot of folks that did the legwork that I did not.
So as a task force, there's it's a place where individuals can seek support. I imagine some kind of assistance or support or concerns and bring them to the task force regarding any LGBTQ issue in the city. Is that correct?
No, not really. I mean, folks do reach out to us when they have concerns, but the purpose of the task force is to really look at the city as a whole and its relationship with the LGBTQ community, and keeping in mind that within the community, you've got gay people, you've got lesbians, you've got transgender, you've got non-binary, you've got several individuals who make up the spectrum of the LGBTQ community. So it's trying to ensure we've got representation from all of those and identify where the gaps and opportunities are so that the city is not missing any steps when it comes to taking care of this segment of our community. And it's not about we need special treatment, we need preferential treatment. It's not about that. It's about, there are different people that have specialized needs. Our homeless population has different needs than the rest of the population. Our special needs community has different needs than the rest of the population. Our elderly have different needs than the rest of the population. A lot of these areas have boards already. Some have had task forces in the past. We've had a task force for arts and culture, for environmental concerns, for the LGBTQ community, and there are probably other areas where a task force would be appropriate. But yeah, it's not to be an ambassador or anything with the community right now for the community to bring us their concerns. We're just collecting information, identifying the gaps, and then making recommendations to the city on how we can be a better community with regard to dealing with this segment of the Brownsville population.
So it'll be safe to say that there is no agenda, no real agenda to, and I want to be silly here because I think it's freaking silly.
Go for it.
To turn the city gay.
No, and
you know what I mean?
It's
a ridiculous thing to even say, right?
We're going to put gay Kool-Aid in everybody's water.
No, it's a completely ridiculous assertion. And the funny thing is my work on the LGBTQ task force has absolutely nothing to do with my running for city commission. The work that I'm doing on the task force would have continued no matter what. And if Commissioner Munguia had been seeking re-election, I probably would not be in the race right now. But that's why when you look at my platform, the focus is on the issues that are most important to the city: infrastructure, emergency preparedness, economic development, transparency, accountability, and better communication with our citizens. That's my platform. That's where my priorities lie. Should I be elected city commissioner? It has nothing to do with the LGBTQ task force or the LGBTQ agenda. Or whatever agenda is being sold out there as something that we're trying to push. It just isn't the case.
So I know this isn't part of your agenda whatsoever, but since you kind of brought it up, can you quickly explain what a non-binary gay person is for those of us, and I'm including myself in this, don't know. Because I'm completely clueless.
That's a whole other show that can fill up with 2 or 3 hours.
I mean, if this is like a quick, under 30-second type answer, great. If not, then we can do it some other time.
No, the first thing I'd have to say is I'm not the expert in this area. And, I can't fault straight people and people who aren't familiar with our community for not knowing, because even within our community, there's a lot of us who don't know. There are folks who are on the task force who I did not know because of how they identify that they fall under the trans umbrella. And clearly, non-binary falls under the trans umbrella. I was not aware of that. Yeah. Non-binary, I just think is binary being the male and female, and they don't go by just those two classifications or one or the other. And that's where non-binary comes in. That's my understanding. That's not the expert opinion, of course, at all from the LGBTQ community. And there are folks who are way better educated who could probably better answer that question than I can.
I'm good. I'm good with that. But, it's just something I've never heard of.
Well, yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of that. I've been listening to quite a few discussions on the transgender issues and, the pay gap that isn't equal male, female, or the gender pay gap, what they're calling it. And, trying to educate myself on that, coming to find out there is not an actual pay gap. I mean, if there is, it's not for the obvious reasons. But again, that's for a whole other program. So piggybacking on the LGBTQ task force topic.
Yes.
Some people feel that you danced around the question about the issue of the drag queen story hour. And whether or not is that another agenda you're trying to push and something that you will, bring forward? And again, another thing that people are saying you didn't answer it correctly. You danced around it. Others are saying, oh, he totally wants to do that, and make that whatever they think you're trying to do with it. Yeah, some kind of priority or whatnot.
Well, let me say first and foremost that the drag story hour had nothing to do with the task force, and I was not involved with the drag story hour in any way, shape, or form. And I know I've heard folks out there say, well, by default, because you're with the LGBTQ task force and the task force supports this, then you support it. Therefore, and I'm like, no, that's not how the linear logic works. But if we're talking about this, and so that there's absolutely no confusion, the drag story hour was streamed online. To the best of my knowledge, there was no time when there was a drag queen in the library holding a story hour face-to-face with children. As I understand it, this was done online. It was streaming. There's nothing that is mandatory to say if you want your electricity to stay on, you must watch the drag queen story hour. Nothing like that is going on. It's one of those things that's completely optional. There's some folks that want to participate in something like this. There's some folks that want their kids to be aware of the different types of lifestyles that are out there. And there's folks that don't. And everybody has a right to choose.
So is this I'm sorry, go ahead.
But when we talk about choice, that's important. You've got to have a choice. And to say this cannot happen in our community, there cannot be a drag queen reading books that children might see, well, then you're taking the choice away from people. So this has to exist on some plane or another so that anybody who is interested in that is able to choose to participate. There's views out there from everybody that we some agree with and some don't agree with. And we're not trying to eradicate anyone from the city. And by the same token, we don't want this segment of our community targeted and said, we think it's inappropriate, so it should not even exist in Brownsville. That's completely un-American.
Yeah, that's called dictatorship.
So there is no plan to. I don't even know whether this was planned to be a live event, in person, or was it strictly an online thing? Was there any plan that you know of to bring this as a live thing at the public library or any of them?
I don't know, because again, we were not involved in that in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, the task force just came into existence last year, but the year before that, there was a Pride event in Market Square, downtown Brownsville. So the folks that are organizing a lot of that stuff, they're the pioneers in this area. But yeah, I can't speak as an expert on any of those things. But as far as so that there's no confusion where my stand on this is, I support this actually happening in our community. I support that a drag queen being able to read a story. Those that want to participate can. Those that don't have to. But that's how people get to choose. If you want to have a choice, the option has to be there. So I support that option being there.
Yeah, and a lot of drag queens are very comical.
Absolutely.
And it takes a very talented drag queen to be comical and clean.
Yep.
Where you don't have to be filthy and dirty and in the gutter. Unlike me, I could turn.
Well, think about Saturday Night Live. We had the church lady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a man dressing up as a woman.
And I don't know. Again, we got to this discussion last time you were here, where we're like, well, is the drag queen, what do you call it, the person? I mean, is that a sexual thing or not? Is it always a sexual thing? Is it never a sexual thing? For the people that I've met, it's I don't know if I'd call it a fetish or just some kind of a fascination for a man to dress up as a woman, but he stays home. He doesn't go out like that. He just likes the clothes for whatever the reason might be.
That would be called a transvestite,
which I think is nobody's business, but he's at home doing this and he loves it and he enjoys it. And you know what? More power to him. I don't care. And then you have those that think, well, they're doing it because they're trying to sexualize the kids, or they're trying to sexualize. They're just trying to bring it forward because they're all pedophiles and that kind of thing, and they're trying to. It's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and I know in my career over the years, there was one work location that I was at with folks from other companies, and there was a married couple. But the husband enjoyed dressing up as a woman, and he would come to work dressed as a woman, but heterosexual. He just enjoyed, I guess, dressing up in women's clothes and having an appearance of a woman. And I was taken aback the first time I ran into him in the men's room. I wasn't sure I was in the right bathroom, but once I realized that, yeah, this is so-and-so, and he likes to dress as a woman, wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, because I have met someone like that. This is a number of years ago. Mm-hmm. And I told my friend, well, he must be gay or something. He goes, no, he's not. He's regular, straight up hetero, married to a woman, 20 years or whatever. He just enjoyed dressing up and I mean, certain things in particular.
Yep.
But I don't know, how do you criticize what somebody enjoys or the reason why, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of women that go fishing and they love to fish and they can fish and cut it open and do all that stuff.
That's right.
And to some men, they're like, ugh, she's a little rough. I'm like, she's a regular woman. You see her in the office or at school or whatever. You would never know that she could outfish you and cut up a fish and gut it out and everything. And
that's right.
Hell, she'd probably drink you under the table too.
Let's see. Lupito, hello. Susan, it shouldn't be held at a public library paid by taxpayers.
And Susan, it wasn't. And that's a lie that keeps being told, is that this happened at a public library. As I understand it, this was online.
But yeah, so that was a perception. That was a perception, wasn't it? Yeah. That it was at the public library, or it was
at one point it was being told that it was happening in schools, and it didn't happen in any schools. This was, I think, through the public library that the portal might have been set up and it was shared, but this was not physically at the library. That's a complete falsehood. But I do take umbrage with people saying, well, that's something that the taxpayers are paying for. Well, we know the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And where do you get to exercise your freedom of speech? Public places, public lands, a city park. You're able to protest, you're able to organize, you're able to stand up for whatever it is you want. You can't go stand in somebody's front yard on private property and do it. It's public property where some of these things happen. And it would be no different than people saying, well, I don't want these books, certain books in the library because it's taxpayer funded. And that's going back to censorship. Exactly.
Yeah. Now she's saying it hosted through the library. I don't know how that was. If it was, I'm not aware if it was.
And I don't see a problem with that. If something's hosted online, that it's hosted through the library, I don't see a problem with that.
Well, what
Yeah.
that boils down to is matter of opinions and matter of
Absolutely.
taste. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and everybody's going to have their own level of taste with any situation.
Of
Some
course.
people are going to
Yep.
think it's very uncouth. Some people are going to think it's very cool. Other people are like, that's a little, yeah, no, that's crossing the line there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's public perception.
bringing up that point of crossing the line, she also said the book Read to Children was about a child who wanted to cross-dress. Why read a book like that? I don't know that was a book. I know that there
I
was.
don't know either.
I know that there was a book reading in front of children at a public place, and I think that was in some other city. It didn't happen here in Brownsville, and it was months ago that it did happen, because I remember online there was all kind of outrage.
I
But
think
the
she might be confusing
cross-dresser,
this one with the one in Seattle or Washington or whatever, with the school reading that one book that we talked about last week.
yes, that's right. I put up a link to a story where I don't know if it was required reading or if it was a story time or something, and the story was about a child who wanted to cross-dress, and I do remember that. That was a couple of weeks ago. But again, we are talking about free speech, and where, depending on, obviously, I don't know that the city would allow it for just somebody to plop down in the middle of the library in front of the restaurant and just start reading. That I'm sure that wouldn't be allowed. I don't know how those details work as to infringing on someone's free speech. Would that be considered free speech? Just sit there and read a story. But I imagine it's somebody's. I don't know. I think, I'm not sure where I stand on this thing.
Well, my opinion
I
is
say-
the book has already been written and published, so it's got its free speech already. The other side of this book is it's being read out loud. So it's not freedom of speech. It's just we're relaying information at this point, is how I see it.
Let's see. Okay, Susan. Yeah, say that to me now. We'll definitely take a look at it here. Freedom of expression. I get it. I totally get it. And and I was going to say, I don't know where I stand on that. Obviously,
I would say stand with the Constitution. That's the best place for every one of us to stand.
Yeah, and it's true. Yeah, the part I'm talking about is, what are they going to read? And obviously, and I would hope everyone would agree with me that obviously they're not going to read something out of adult.
We don't want them reading Mein Kampf.
Adult stuff, or yes, and that too, right?
Right.
And they're not going to be reading adult novel kind of gay stories or trans, that kind of stuff. They're not going to be reading that. And if they were just reading a legit, Jack and Jill story or whatever these fables are,
Green eggs and
I don't
ham,
care
damn
who
it.
it was. Green eggs and ham, yeah, but they can't read now Dr. Seuss. You know what I mean? See how ridiculous, kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean?
That's why I
And let
said
me say,
green eggs
on
and ham.
cancel culture, I absolutely disagree with cancel culture.
Right there with you.
I respect what AT&T has done and Warner Media and HBO Max. They're not pulling these things out of circulation. If there's people that have concerns, they'll put a disclaimer on it, but we keep showing things in their original form. And I believe in that. I don't think you should just be pulling things out that are part of the fabric of this country. And when we talk about having been the greatest country on earth, that was part of what got us there.
Right.
So it can't be all bad. And there are lessons to be taken from it. But whatever it is, we're talking about Pepe Le Pew, and I understand the point that's being made there. But same thing, put a disclaimer on it. Because when nobody was up in arms when Bugs Bunny was dressing up as a woman to fool Elmer Fudd.
Right?
That's right.
Like, come on.
I know. And, these things are so ridiculous. And to think
Yes,
that
they are.
To consider Pepe Le Pew was trying to rape her by not allowing her to leave the room. I mean, this was more of a, God, I don't even know how to explain it. It's
You're
nothing
playing hard to get. Ooh la la.
Yeah, nothing remotely close to a serious rape situation. I mean, this was a freaking cartoon. It was not.
No, I think the folks that want to drive anything out and want to limit freedom of expression, when they disagree with it, they'll go after anything and everything they can get a foothold on. And that's why we've seen some of the things we've seen pulled from cartoons, from animation, from bookshelves, whatever it might be. Now, on the flip side, because like I say, I believe in standing with the Constitution. At some level, I disagree with it, but at some level, I have to respect that if the company that owns the rights to these says, this is our product, we own the rights to it, and we're making the decision to pull it. I don't agree with them for doing that, but I have to respect that they own it. That's their right if they want to pull it. Just like same thing with us, any of our individual freedoms. It's our right if we want to do X or if we want to do Y. If these companies own the rights and they decide they want to do it, I don't want the government coming in here and saying you've got to pull Pepe Le Pew. And I don't want the government coming in here saying pull Dr. Seuss. That's not their place.
Which is what happened with Dr. Seuss. It was the Dr. Seuss Foundation themselves that decided to pull these books off because they said, yeah, these are not good for whatever their reason was saying.
And even if we disagree with them, we have to respect that because it's their intellectual property.
I'm not a fan of a group of millennials or XYZ generations or whoever makes up this cancel culture going to whoever owns Aunt Jemima's rights now and go, you need to take that Aunt Jemima off of the product because she's black. To me, that is racist. Oh, we're going to remove you because you're black. Okay, yeah, she was a slave back in the day. The person she worked for helped Aunt Jemima create this brand.
Yeah, see that was a whole other
no.
That was a whole other situation that I don't understand because it was partly created by a black woman, and then for them to want to take her face off of there saying it was racist, it doesn't compute. It doesn't.
And yeah, from what I understood, her descendants.
Oh, they fought.
Were very
hard.
proud of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard they were proud of it. And they wanted to keep it.
Yep. They sure did. So this whole cancel culture thing, I think too many people are not fighting back and not standing up to the cancel culture. I think they're just bowing down too quickly. And I applaud. I know there was a situation recently, and I can't remember what it is right now. I'd have to go back in my stories and read.
Churchill Downs fought back to the cancel culture and pretty much
the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby. They didn't want them to play the song, and they said, "Sorry, go away." And they just ignored it, and that's what has to be done. That's
as soon as one person starts pushing back and saying "F you," we're done with you. That's when everybody else is going to stand up and say, enough is enough. You've canceled great television shows like the police Live PD. God, did I love that show? That was an amazing show.
Which show was
it
that?
a little
Live PD?
Never saw that.
You haven't seen It was kind of in the tradition of Cops.
Okay.
And they would go to, this was live on, I think it was Saturday night. Maybe it was sometime during the week.
Yeah.
5 different cities throughout the country. One of them was Mission here.
And what was the heartburn over it?
They would, because since the police violence thing and the, who was the one, where's the guy, the George Floyd? I think that's when they decided to cut it because the police violence and all police are bad now.
Yeah, and every cop is bad. They're all out to kill you. So don't trust them.
They cut the program. Yeah, and it was done. So
the cancel cult, that was the first one they canceled. I mean, they were all about canceling that, and they were trying really hard to cancel Law and Order.
And I hope they bring it back. Cops is still showing here and there on the reruns. Anyway, Susan said, I think it should be organized within themselves. And I think for the most part, it is. I don't have a problem with the public library posting a link going, by the way, this group, LGBT group, which is positively trying to promote inclusion and this kind of thing, they're having this story hour. You can click on the link here. Click on the link for more information. I don't care about that. I mean, that's not taxpayer funded. That's what's the big deal putting a link up to something like that or refer to it. I don't know if this was organized with was it organized at all with the city at all, as far as you know?
Since the library was involved, I'd have to assume that the city was involved in some level. I don't know if it was just with the library administration or if it went to the city manager. So again, the task force had nothing to do with the planning of that, and I had nothing to do with the planning of that. So I can't speak expertly on it.
A couple more comments here. We need to cancel the cancel culture. That's right.
I say that all the time, Carol.
Yes.
We got those BAMism t-shirts. It says BAM says cancels the cancel culture. You can pick that up at Manny's merch. Just a quick plug. Name of the book was Julian is a Mermaid. Yep.
So then let me ask, so where's the list of books that people want banned? Because that's what it sounds like is we don't like this book, so we want this book banned. And I think this country's been there and done that.
Yeah, back in the 40s.
Yeah, this is, even though it's Julian is a mermaid, it's a kid's book. It may be about cross-dressing or drag queens. I haven't seen the book. I haven't read the book. But if it's a children's book, you know, where's the list? Which books are banned and which books are not
if it is a
banned?
children's book, you're playing dress up. I mean, what little boy hasn't gone into mommy's closet, put on a pair of heels,
It happens all the time.
a blouse or something?
Let me tell you, I showed a friend of mine today at Farmers Market. I was showing him a video when I was in high school in the talent show. I did Elton John and Kiki D, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. And I dressed up half man, half woman. And I came out on the stage of the profile. And then when I flipped around for Kiki D, and my mom's in the audience, and my mom's like, that's my dress. And my mom is much smaller than I am. I'm not the same size as mom. So yeah, I mean, there was another play I did in high school where we wrote a scene for all of the women to have the lead roles in it, because most of the other scenes were male dominated. And it turned out the content ended up being something one of the girls didn't agree with. And so she bailed on the scene right before we went into production. And so I had to fill in the role. So I was, for all intents and purposes, I was in drag on stage in high school for a play that was part of our project, our assignment in our honors English class. We had to write, produce, direct a play and put it on for several classes to see. And we did. And yeah, like you say, little boys do this every now and then. You go through mom's closet and you try this, you try that,
and even straight little boys do it. It's just fun.
That's right.
Exactly. It goes on, and for whatever the reason, they'll slip into those mom's heels or mom's hat, you know, the female hat or feminine hat or something, and they'll just come out of the bed for no reason. They're not doing it because they want to know what a girl feels like. They're just kids who know nothing. And
honestly, if you let your son walk around in mom's heels, that's not what's going to determine that he's gay or straight.
Yep.
If the kid's gay or straight is predetermined, that's how he was born. That's how he was made by God. It's not about that they let him wear heels at home or didn't let him wear heels at home. That has nothing to do with it.
And a smart kid will go, dang, these freaking things hurt. I'm not going to wear these again.
There you go.
That's why I don't wear the heels.
That's why I don't wear heels.
Yeah, but beauty knows no pain.
Oh, yeah. So I'm David Lee. So I'm guessing that ladies shouldn't wear pants nor suits because that is what dummies think. This is limiting what we think or believe. Shonda says people who want to be angry will find a reason to be angry. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they'll pick on stuff to push different agendas or bring down a certain what they believe is an agenda. Or, you know, to try to promote another candidate and use anything they can find, you know, which, and you know, the sad part is, I'll bet right now we could end the show, not even discuss any other issue of the city. And that would never even come up.
Right.
You know, the main topic would be the LGBTQ issue. And I think there are, you know, other valid, important issues to discuss.
Absolutely.
Even Judge Judy called out the cancel culture. Yes, she did.
And love Judge Judy.
Yeah, you know, I was on the fence with her all the time. I couldn't stand her a lot of times. I think she was too short on people sometimes. Even a lot of times, maybe it was like, ooh, we should have
she's a bitch.
But remember, it's a ratings game.
Oh, yeah.
And that personality, then that shortness and curtness, that's part of her charm.
And that's why people watch.
And that's why they pay her, what, $40 million a year?
The one thing that gets under my skin with that woman is when they one of the plaintiffs or whoever highlights something and they give it to Judy to read, and she goes, "Well, if you read the highlighted portion," doesn't even get highlighted portion out, and Judy goes, "I can read." Well, and the first thing I want to say to the bitch is, "Well, I would hope so. You passed the goddamn bar, didn't you?"
Well, but let me tell you why she says that. Because when people hand you something that's highlighted, they're trying to limit you to just this one line or phrase.
Right. Don't read before that.
Context.
Yeah, don't read before that or don't read after that. Just read the yellow part.
Yeah, and you don't want that. And that's why Judge Judy does that, because now she can read, and let her read the whole thing and make her own determination. Don't try and steer her decision.
I'd rather steal her damn thunder.
You're just jealous because you can't pull off the black robe as well as she can, Bam.
I don't know. I think I'd wear it better.
Angel Lee. Angel says public spaces are open to everyone, LGBTQ or not. We should respect each other and take care of our community together. One Brownsville. I agree.
Amen.
I don't think, there are some people that will say, well, you're going to have the conservatives against you because of just the gay thing, period. And you know what? How do they react when you go, yeah, this guy, guess what? Roy, he is. But guess what? He's conservative also. He considers himself conservative.
And I've got a lot of conservatives that are supporting me. And to any conservative out there who doesn't, first get to know me. Don't just go by, well, we hear he wants to do this. We hear about this big rainbow agenda. We hear he wants drag queens everywhere. And the other one was he wants everybody's kid in drag. Just ridiculous assertions. Find out for yourself. Don't listen to the lies.
When you hear it come out of his mouth, or the horse's mouth, so to speak, then you can say, I heard.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem with
Itza.
It's a whole, hi Itza, welcome.
Hello, Itza.
It's a whole problem with, and I want to say it's very sad that we still, it is a form of homophobia. Still, you have some people that just the fact you could be, Roy, you could be spot on 100% on all the issues in the city or your ideas for fixing them. But, he's gay. Well, okay, that's it. He's out of the picture. And that is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
That is very dumb.
Absolutely.
Those are the people that are kicking out their gay and lesbian kids because it's immoral. It's impure. It's the devil.
Yeah, and I know.
I had a good conversation after one of the forums I was on. It might have even been with you guys on one of the talks we had. There was a pastor that reached out to me. And he says, I heard you online. I like what I heard, but I want to sit and get to know you a little bit better. And he doesn't live in my district, but he has members of his congregation who do. And we sat down and we talked. We had lunch at Cobbleheads. And he says, clearly, I can tell you're a conservative. But he asked, how do you reconcile your work on the task force with what the Bible says about homosexuality? And fortunately, he was an attorney as well. And he had practiced family law, and he had cases where he had children who were being placed in homes with same-sex parents. And he was able to say, these were some amazingly loving homes, healthy environment, nurturing, great for these children. And it was good to see them go to such loving homes. And I said, okay, so let's think about that for 1 second. And what the Bible says about homosexuality. I know two things. And I grew up in the Catholic Church, did all my sacraments. I taught catechism for 3 years. My mom worked for the diocese for 13 years and still works for a Catholic high school today. I know two things for sure. The Bible was written by men well over 1,000 years, hundreds of years. And we know man is flawed.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm not going to put that much faith there. And he asked me, how is your relationship with Christ? And I'm happy to say I've got a very good relationship with Christ. And I feel very blessed in that I can look at something and know the difference between right and wrong and know the difference between good and evil. So when he asked me that question, I said, let's think about that for a second. You're placing this child in the home of a same-sex couple that you can see, and you're telling me yourself that this is a loving, nurturing, healthy environment. But any man of the cloth who wants to go strictly by the Bible would say, this is a sin, this is evil, this is wrong. Yep. So are you going to believe this man who's telling you this is a sin, this is evil, or this is wrong? Or are you going to believe what you feel in your heart when you've got a good relationship with Christ?
Yep.
And you can see the difference between love and hate and good and evil? Who are you going to believe?
Yeah, and that would bring up the topic of gay marriage. And I've said this before, and I would say, as a conservative who pushes for a full family, two parents and the children, you're almost obligated to be in favor of gay marriage because at least it is a whole family unit. It's not a single parent. And from what I've read, and I've read a lot the last 30 days looking into this stuff, the jury is not out whether or not, two men raising a child or two women raising a child ends up being a bad thing for the child.
Right.
The data indicates so far it's no difference. It's a child growing up with two parents, and that's all that the data indicates. But there's no swing one way or the other that says, oh, it's a horrible situation for the kid, or there's a lack of a feminine parent do something, down the line to the child, or does the lack of a masculine parent do something to them down the road? But there's no data to indicate that.
Right. And let's remember, a lot of folks will say, well, marriage is a religious institution. But before any organized religion today, marriage predates that. Marriage was happening in the Old Testament and before then. And back then it wasn't one man and one woman. Sometimes it was one man and 40 wives. And it's evolved over the years. So it's a modern religion that has placed this definition out there. And I respect that to the extent that we want to respect religion. Absolutely. Where my view changed over the years had to do with in looking at the benefits that come with being the spouse. Is now automatically, if someone dies, the spouse gets everything. Medical decisions, the spouse. All of these other things that happen. Tax benefits. You've got to get a license. There's a fee for that license. You've got to register with your county. So this isn't just the church is handling marriage and the government has nothing to do with it. The government has been involved in marriage for forever. And so it's not just a religious institution, it's a civil one as well. And once it becomes a civil institution and government's involved, then equal protection of the laws for everyone applies. And I know folks will say, well, you can achieve it with civil unions. Yes, you can. But if we're going to say equal protection of the laws, why should we have to have civil unions? If someone says, no, I want this to be my spouse, I want this to be my husband or my wife, whatever, why would we deny them that if we're about equality and equal protection of the laws for everyone?
Yeah, I agree. If they're willing to be married, then guess what? You get in line with everybody else that's married, hetero or whatever. Don't treat them any differently. Should be equal. I don't know. I don't see why this would be an issue anymore. I think fast forward to 2021, the day Jesus Christ or God comes down to this planet, and should I hate him because he's gay or hate them because they're gay parents? I would have a hard time believing that God would or Jesus would say, of course not. We have to love everyone. That's from what I read in the Bible. Love everyone. Don't hate on anybody, period.
Exactly.
So
even Mary Magdalene, he didn't say, well, what you do is against my religious beliefs. Sorry, you can't come in.
Right.
No, he opened his door.
This is very true. Let me get to some more comments here. Oh my God, you never saw Live PD? Roy, you got to go back and find last.
I've got to find it now.
Live PD. And it was funny because
Roy, you haven't lived.
Oh, you haven't lived. Yeah, exactly. Live PD was awesome. They'd go, all right, let's go to Tampa. And they'd go to Tampa. It'd be like a cop, one of the original cops.
Yep.
Cameras following them. And then they'd switch, all right, let's go to Mission, Texas now. And they'd go, and there's a story there. And it was actually quite good. It was kind of like a ramped up cops program. Let's see. It was a great PD show. Showed how cops have to put up with difficult situations. Yeah, and they did. There were a lot of confrontations, a drunk driver or somebody they didn't give a ticket to that, they showed the real side of what police have to deal with. Parents should have the choice as long as that exists. Carry on.
Yes.
That's it.
And let me say on the cop show, and I'm going to go back and look for that. I think the important thing there also that when people are trying to cancel something like that, what's wrong with that is we've got to look at every side. And is there violence out there that probably shouldn't be happening? And I think we can all agree that there is. And that's why we saw that recent conviction of the law enforcement officer. But by the same token, people need to understand what these men and women who put on that uniform and go to work every day to protect our lives and our property, what they face and what they go through. So a show like this shows the side of that, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Just because there's 5 bad apples doesn't mean the whole orchard sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the problem is people don't want to accept that, and
Of course not.
I don't understand.
And we've got to keep standing up to that. It's unfortunate, but people like us that know better, we need to keep standing up to the ignorance and this attempted canceling everything that they disagree with.
Definitely.
I have zero tolerance for ignorance. I mean, like I said, I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, but I cannot stand ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, again, I put that comment up there. As long as the parents have the choice, it's not like, all children, between 2 and 6 must attend.
Right.
It's never going to be like that. That's crazy. I agree. man, we are sounding like 1940 Germany more and more.
You know, Carol,
in some
it's kind of
aspects,
funny
yes.
how everything comes full circle. It really does.
Yep.
Fashion, music, wars, mistakes, everything comes full circle. It's just kind of funny how it works out that way.
Yeah, little girls like to copy daddy too, just being a kid.
Yep.
Well, they do. My
Yep.
sister used to walk around in my dad's size 12 shoes all the time. And I think she had like a size 3 foot.
and only the dumb, what's the word, ignorant parent or ignorant person would freak out and go, oh my God, she wants to be a boy. She wants to be a man. It's like,
Right.
come on, please.
Or a tom girl.
A tom girl. Yeah, just leave her alone. They're just kids. So why are people so afraid of trans?
Or tomboy. That's what it was. They were tomboys.
Yeah, Lupito, I don't know.
I think it's just fear of the unknown.
Exactly. It's different. We don't know how to look at it. We don't know how to accept it. We don't know how to explain it.
Yep.
So we're scared of it.
And like I said, on the task force, I didn't even realize that there were folks that were considered trans or were under the trans umbrella. And now that I have a better understanding and the task force has been part of my enlightenment, I can say that, some of my best friends are trans. And I'm very proud of that.
Like I told Ma'am, and I told you this before, I grew up in Boys Town in Chicago. So gay people, the LGBTQ plus, however many letters you want to add to that, I lived all around them. They were neighbors. They were our tenants. There were people we were at the store with every day. We rode the bus with them, and it's weird. It's like I'm talking about aliens or something. It's like they were just people. And I grew up like my mom. Thank God, she said they're just people. Don't treat them different. They're just regular people. They're a little bit different, but they're people. They're just like me and you.
And this is important, Manny, this conversation right here, because I can understand someone that's got apprehension because they don't know and they're not familiar with it. I don't think you can easily get them to open their minds by just putting them in a room with a trans person and making them listen and get to know the individual. I think conversations like this are like, it's just Bam, it's just Manny, it's just Roy. And when they can hear us talking about this and how these are just human beings like the rest of us, we're all equal, we're all Americans. I think that helps to normalize it. And those of you guys out there who are unfamiliar and who might be apprehensive, you can relax a little bit. You really can. I mean, this is not a threat to anybody's way of life.
Yeah, I think if you throw them in a room and lock them in there with a trans person or a drag queen, oh my God, they're going to be like shivering in a corner and locked mind, wall up, and no open mind whatsoever. That's the worst thing you could do to somebody.
Well, I think, and in this city in particular, and I know it goes on everywhere, I know trans people get a bad rap because a lot of them get into a profession at night where they have to earn money, so get into prostitution.
Yeah, they're sex workers.
Hey,
trans.
There is absolutely nothing wrong for getting paid for something you enjoy doing.
Be quiet.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bam, because I was thinking about that earlier today, and when we talk, because equal protection of the laws is always big to me, but then we have to think about it. It's legal in Vegas.
It is,
and if it's legal in Las Vegas, and we've got equal protection of the laws. How do we resolve that? How do we reconcile that?
Well, it's legal in Nevada, and in the city limits of Vegas, they have a lot more strict rules on it.
Right.
But they have to carry a card saying that they've been checked on their last date of STD test was this yada yada yada. Yeah. It's kind of like a union card they carry.
There's the government licensing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some people make the connection and think, well, all trans people must be in the sex business selling, and that's where everybody's wrong. Yes. You can't make that assumption and say, well, he's trans. Oh, he must be, a night worker at night on the street or into prostitution. And I think combining those two is wrong. And but you're not gonna get people to see different. There's some people that are just ignorant, and they will not. They're just, I don't know. I can't explain why. It's so weird to have this conversation in 2021 that people have a problem with anyone, either gay or anything. It doesn't matter. I just don't understand.
I can understand that people still don't know enough about these communities, so I can understand some of the apprehension. I think what I don't understand still in this day and age is the hate and the intolerance that springs up from that, because that's so unnecessary and so unwarranted.
Well, and a lot of that comes from the whole "not my child" syndrome. My kid will never, and if he is, I'll kill the blankety blank blank.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, you have those parents out there like that, and their friends are pretty much the same way. Until you run across one that'll be like, "Well, haven't you ever heard of unconditional love? You're supposed to love that child no matter what." Then it turns into, he's a heathen. He's this. He's a pile of whatever, and it's like, no, dude, it's a person. He is a child. He is a person. He is a human.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. People need to, and it's funny. The left side, or you say that the liberals are, try to impress acceptance, right? And a lot of them are very or tolerance, and a lot of them are very intolerant.
Mm.
And I think more people on the right need to be more tolerant. And so I don't think they're wrong when they're asking for tolerance, but they need to be a little more tolerant themselves. You can't even have a conversation with a lot of liberals. They'll just turn around and walk away, as they'll cuss at you, and then they'll walk off.
No, you've got extremists on both sides of the spectrum.
You really do.
Yeah. So let's skip subjects here. I think we've had quite a bit of discussion regarding the Rainbow Coalition, as I'll call it, and the falsehood that it is. At least I think that issue has been answered on more than one level. If somebody has a question or a comment, please.
Pretty much the bottom line is, Roy, you are not trying to make Brownsville gay, correct?
Nope, not at all.
That should be the headline tomorrow morning. I'll put it out there. Sheesh.
Because I've heard stories of there's certain candidates that think that's all you are, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah. And anyone who's worked with me in all of over the years with Sombrero Festival, the different boards I've been on, the work I've done in the community, a gay agenda has never been part of that, ever.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know where they came up with that shit. It's probably they're trying to smear you.
Where they came up with it is my record of service to the community is solid. So all they have is to go after my character. And this was the best they could come up with, is that I'm gay and that I believe and that I'm pushing for equality.
Yeah. And, and some will say, well, somebody's tried to suggest that I was defending you on a certain thing. And they even went as far as to say that I was being paid by you to defend you.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, that narrative.
Wait a second, I need to get in on that. You need to send some cash this way, okay?
We got
$sign BAM 67.
Because you've heard
BAM
this is like an incredibly well-financed campaign to read the
I know,
posts
I've
out there.
I've seen it, how well financed it is.
I'm well financed. I'm part of the elite, and I'm just a little boy from Southmost Road. I went to Palm Grove Elementary public school. I drive a 17-year-old Ford Expedition. I don't drive a Tesla.
Not yet.
Yeah,
save your pennies.
They're going to make a good deal. You're going to make a good deal to Brownsville residents since Tesla is here. That'd be sweet.
But I'll tell you what. One thing I do want to say on that, when we talk about, or when folks talk about how much money I'm spending on my campaign, and especially going into the runoff now, it's gonna continue to grow, and most of it is still. Luckily, I'm seeing some more donations come in, but it's still a lot out of my pocket. But to the question of why spend this much money for a position that pays $10 a meeting, one, I'm very blessed that I've got a job that pays me well, and I have no kids, so I don't have a lot of expenses, so I've got some disposable income. And when I think about how I like to spend my money, I could be traveling, I could take trips, I could do stuff, but to me, it's more important. I could buy a Tesla. That's right.
You could.
To me, it's more important to make a difference. And it's a difference of ideologies. I know folks who are like, we go through this life just once. I want to see as much of this planet as possible. And they travel and they've been to 100 and some countries. I believe, and I agree, we live this life just once. But to me, how I want to spend it is having the most positive impact I can and leaving a legacy behind. So why would I spend this much money? there was already things that needed to happen for this city, and that we're going to bring good government to it. The areas where we're good, we're going to make better. The areas where we're lacking, we're going to make good and then make better. But this race, when there's nothing to come at me for other than my sexuality, this has shown us that there is still hate and intolerance out there. And I can take it, not a problem, but I know that there are folks within the community that are more fragile. And continued hate and continued pressure, we've seen it across the country. People end up committing suicide. And that's not acceptable to me. Not one life being lost, whether it's because of a freeze and the mishandling of the winter storm, or whether it's because we allow hate and intolerance to drive someone to the point that they want to take their own life. It's not acceptable. So why would I spend this much money for a position that pays $10 a meeting? Because it's that important. Because if even one life is saved by silencing the hate and the intolerance, and if even one life is saved by enlightening more of the community to just see, we're not looking for preferential treatment or special treatment. We're just looking for fair and equal treatment for everyone across the board.
So what kind of spending are we talking about now for your campaign, up until election day versus what happens after, like when there's a runoff?
Well, fortunately with the runoff, I don't think I've spent a lot of money yet. I have seen a lot of more in-kind contributions. A Lad T-shirts donated a bunch of T-shirts to my campaign and I only bought 50 before, and I think they donated 40. I've got some folks donating yard signs, and that started with someone reaching out asking for a yard sign, and I told them, I'm sorry, we don't have any because we just don't have the budget for it. They donated 100 yard signs to us, and now I've got someone new donating more yard signs to us, and I appreciate that.
That's amazing.
I've got to go back and do the valuation on these in-kind contributions to be able to give you a true figure. But I think we were estimating the general was going to run anywhere from 30 to 40,000 when all was said and done with the consultants with Pink 8 Media.
Yeah,
that could be getting closer to 50,000 with the runoff.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money.
You are a true definition of a pillar in a community.
Thank you. I try.
For as much as people want to criticize the kind of money spent, I'm like, you know what? It's a campaign. It's going to cost money. I mean,
right.
It's almost obvious. Those who don't spend and those who do spend, look where we are now.
And I would say to people who are concerned about the amount being spent on a campaign, if I were spending six figures, and if the vast majority of that or all of that were coming from folks who have contracts with the city of Brownsville and want to do city business with the city of Brownsville, that should be cause for concern.
Yeah,
you look at my campaign finance reports, and I think there's two firms that have given me $500 a piece. The biggest donations have not come from folks who are doing business with the city of Brownsville. The biggest donations have come from friends and family that I've worked with over the years and who have faith in my ability to serve in an honorable manner and with integrity, and that I'll make them proud if I'm given the chance to serve.
So moving on a little bit, we've heard from the Tesla Foundation, and this the $10 million, and has your stance on that changed at all? Are you still, since you're one of the elite and have the inside word, you must be getting some of that cash in your pocket. So
there we go. We're putting you on top of that pillar now. We're elevating you.
Now, when you say my position on what exactly?
On how that money might be spent in downtown, or your thoughts on, having a what do you call it? Somebody who's going to oversee this money. I'm sure somebody on the Tesla Foundation is going to be keeping an eye on that also.
The Musk Foundation.
Exactly. And I can't imagine they won't.
As I understand it, they're going to be meeting with city leaders. So I expect the city's going to have some type of input, but this is still completely at the discretion of the Musk Foundation, as I understand it. And I know I've said this before. These are the folks writing the check. This is a grant. They can say, this is what the grant money's for, and you're limited to spending it like this. So we don't know how much input the city of Brownsville will have. I don't even know if those decisions will have already been made before the runoff even happens. And it may be that even if I'm lucky enough to be elected, I may not get any input in that.
Right.
I've got ideas for how we could spend it in the downtown area if we're limited to the downtown area. But it would be all speculation because we don't know how much input the commission will have at this point once the new commissioners are elected from the District 3 and District 4 races.
Yeah, and then your thoughts on your updated thoughts on the Boca Chica median construction.
Oh,
And we've had a lot of rain. After one, I've been out of town, but I saw it plastered everywhere.
mhm.
We've had a lot of rain, and we have the same flooding issues in virtually the same places there. Isn't that quite frustrating to hear that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I would think, and we all know this, we've seen this, anybody that grew up in Brownsville. Yeah, Boca Chica floods badly. And if you can get through it all, you've got to get to the center of the road to be able to make it.
Right.
And so,
now
yeah,
you
with
can't.
these medians, that's no longer a possibility. So I think something like these medians should never have happened if the drainage problem had not been fixed first. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Should not have happened. Now, in the long run, when we're talking about traffic flow, I think medians, and I've seen these in other cities and in other areas of town, I think they work well so that you don't have people just turning every 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, because it's just a madhouse.
Yeah.
But Boca Chica, with the flooding problems it's had for generations now, medians should not have gone in until the flooding problem was fixed completely.
Yeah, because what I foresee now in the future is somebody finally saying the sewage system is not, this drain system is not working. It's got to be expanded. And I foresee another construction project coming up. I mean, for how long can they just let this go?
Well, that's the thing when we talk about, and I'm looking forward to this audit getting done, the Tenasca money. We didn't build that power plant. That's $180 million. We could have had a more reliable grid that didn't go out as often as it does. We could have had better drainage. So we didn't have this type of flooding. So we need to know where the taxpayers' money went.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, unfortunately, for the next bunch of years, this is just going to be what we're stuck with until.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid, come June 1st, if I'm not mistaken, that's the beginning of hurricane season, the official beginning of hurricane season.
I believe you're right.
And
yeah, but it's kind of funny that we already have named storms going already.
Oh, I haven't even looked at whether who's
there
the first
was
name
one.
coming up.
I didn't catch it. It happened last week. The first named storm in the Atlantic happened last week, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it's not even hurricane season yet.
Well, the off-season storms were feeling left out.
Yeah, right. Let's see, a couple of these comments. Also, in the context of the state foster care system being overburdened and even being sued for gross negligence, restricting homes for children over homophobia is a wasted opportunity to give a child a loving home. Totally
Amen.
agree. Totally agree.
Amen.
If Jesus comes here now, he'll be smacking the living hell out of some folks. Yeah, I hope so. I would hope so.
Just because you got a homosexual household does not mean that child is in danger of being molested. It'll never happen.
Yeah, that's the other misconception. Gay equals pedophile. It's like, I don't know where people get this stuff. Seriously. Thank you for your kind word, Roy. What would you like to see change in District 3? That was one of the questions coming up also, but since we got to it already, what's something you would like to... Again, I know I've asked you this before, but what's something that's, you know what?
A lot of my ideas aren't specific to District 3, but District 3 would be a beneficiary just like every other district would. I think two of the biggest things I'd want to tackle right away would be the permitting process, because that affects everything from economic development to affordable housing, which I know are important issues for the community, and the 546 help number. And the 546 help number is important to me because... and we hear this often, you've got to know somebody if you want to get anything done. And that is a sad state of affairs because the citizens should not be beholden to their commissioner of their district. They should not be beholden to the at-large commissioners or to the mayor. Any citizen, regardless of who you know, what friends, what enemies you have, any citizen should be able to pick up the phone or go online to put in a report because they're having a problem and have that problem addressed. It shouldn't be about who you know. And the 546 help number is the easiest way for us to fix that. And unfortunately, I have not seen enough progress on that yet. I'm not saying it isn't happening behind the scenes, but if it's happening, I have not seen it. And this is an area I've got a lot of expertise in, because with AT&T, I've worked the office of the president, and they were accountable to the FCC, the PUC, the Better Business Bureau, and there are potential fines if we're not handling these things in a timely manner. So I know what it looks like to have a great resolution process, because I've seen it at AT&T, and I know what it looks like to have a bad resolution process, because I've seen it with the city of Brownsville. So that's an important one for me, because that should give every citizen the avenue to have their problems addressed.
Very good. A couple more comments here. Most of us were raised that you comply with the police no matter if they are right or wrong. That's a start. Just comply. Just comply. Don't escalate anything. I wore my dad's boots whenever I could. Oh, Carol, you're trying to
Carol.
be. Yeah. See, Carol turned out okay. Well, at least I think you're okay, Carol. I don't know.
Carol's an all right person. I like Carol.
Yep, love Carol.
Prostitution happens. Prostitution happens everywhere, legal or not. And this is true. I'm just saying, trans, they get a bad rap because those that resort to that for whatever their reason. I'm not judging either, but for whatever the reason, that's the only thing that they're known for, and that's not how it is. There's Joe. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, stated that 74% of assaults on male victims are committed by heterosexual men. I read that somewhere before. I forgot about that fact. I read that before a couple of years ago, and I totally believe that. Hungry Hippo. I know several, and they are nice people on earth. Nothing scary about them. So for it to be weary is beyond me. And I think she's referring to the question that who was it? Was it Joe was asked, or somebody said, why is everybody afraid of trans people? That was a response to that.
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of them that's pretty scary. Like that one doctor that's in charge of something that's in the government. I don't know its name. Long blonde hair, walks around in a fairy dress.
Oh, the trans person, the trans the health something.
When you look at that, when you look at him, he is pretty scary looking.
Okay, I mean, physical appearance, yeah, right. It's a little. She's a little creepy, I guess, but. Again, people are taking that and running with that also. Roy, was this you or somebody handling your stuff? Roy has an incredible record of community service in Brownsville.
Now, that is probably one of the young men who's my right hand in a lot of the things in this campaign. There you go.
He's got a campaign manager. Look at that.
Look at that. You got him working on a Saturday night.
I've got a few high-level consiglieres on my campaign, I'm very proud to say.
Good for you.
Roy's got a solid record of community service in Brownsville. Yes, that's what I keep hearing. Well, good luck, Roy. God bless you for trying to make a better community.
Thank you, Carol.
I don't think this election is focused on LGBT issues, but rather government transparency. I personally don't think adding a yes man or someone that already aligns with our commission would benefit Brownsville. So that's another thing, another phrase that has been attached to you as being you're just going to be the yes guy. And people don't like that. People, I mean, that's really getting around also besides the.
Well, and I would say to anyone who's got that concern, give me an example, because if we look at the last several years since I've been involved with city boards, and people are saying I've been on these boards for decades. The boards I've been on for over a decade is Sombrero Festival, which is community, not city of Brownsville, not appointed by the city of Brownsville. The only city boards I've been on have been since 2015 when I moved back to Brownsville. So about 5 years, going on 6 years. But when we talk about me being a yes man, talk to anybody on staff at the city of Brownsville in planning and zoning, and they will tell you I am one of the persons that butt heads with them the most. I'm always butting heads with staff, with department heads. I butt heads with the city manager's office, and I butt heads with the city commission. I've gone toe to toe with city attorneys and department heads, and fortunately, I've come out winning most of those arguments because I made sure I did my homework and knew what I was talking about. When the city commission wanted to pass that new rule on how many boards you could serve on, and they wanted to limit it to one, they tried to throw me off of one of the boards I was on. They sent me a letter telling me I would have to resign from one. And I said, no, I won't, because I know the law and clearly you guys don't. And state statute, I was on quasi-judicial boards only, and they're provided for in state statute. And state statute provides that once you appoint those members, they can be removed for cause, and they are entitled to a public hearing if they want one. But the city commission was just making this arbitrary policy decision, and we all know why. They wanted to get rid of one person off of one board, but didn't have the courage of the conviction to go after that one individual. So they wanted a blanket policy so that it couldn't be tied to any type of favoritism or singling anybody out. And they screwed over a lot of citizens. And boards suffered because of people that had to step down from some of the positions they were in. And that's very unfortunate because it was politics. But I beat the city on that. And that's the city commission. I beat on that. They've done it with city attorneys. And I will keep doing that. And I butt heads with the mayor before. I'll butt heads with the mayor again. So I would love to see an example of where I've been a yes man to rubber stamp whatever this commission has wanted. I've gotten up and I've spoken out on stuff a lot over the years.
Yeah, Karen, if you do have an example or something that in particular you would like to pinpoint, please let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, Roy, I think I've only known you for a month and a half, maybe 2 months tops. You do not strike me as a yes man whatsoever.
Oh no, believe me, I'm not. And I love it because I do this not just on city boards, but on any board I'm on. I'm the first one to go in and say, if I'm joining your board, I want to see your minutes for the last 12 months and I want to see your bylaws. And when
you strike me more of
others, and they think I'm targeting them, and I'm like, this is what I do on every board I'm on, because accountability is important. You've got to dot the I's, you've got to cross the T's, and you've got to follow the law.
Yeah, you strike me more as a in-your-face type person.
Absolutely.
So the other thing comes up regarding these boards is that, he's on so many boards. Oh my goodness, how is he going to have the time to do everything? And why is he on so many boards? And how can he? So again, you can explain what you got planned for your boards and the number of boards that you're on, just to clear it up.
On all the boards I'm on, only 2 of them are city boards, and that's the LGBTQ Task Force and the Board of Adjustment. I've already stated that I would instantly resign from 3 boards if I'm elected commissioner. And the 3 boards would be the Board of Adjustment for the city of Brownsville, the LGBTQ Task Force for the city of Brownsville, and the Board of Camille Playhouse. And I chose Camille because Camille Playhouse is an endeavor which requires a full-time president. And I'm president of the board right now. And you've got to have someone who's willing to put in the time. And I would not have the time to do the role justice if I'm also serving as a commissioner. The boards I would remain on are Sombrero Festival, and I would stay there because we've built that team. It's a machine now. We've got almost 80 officers plus our board members. It is a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. It does not demand a lot of my time. The other 2 are the Texas Southmost College Foundation, and we've got David Tumlinson, who's a director there. He handles the day-to-day operations. The board meets every couple of months, and we do work to support the efforts to bring in more money for scholarships and to fund programs for the college, but it's not demanding on my time. And that's because a testament to this great staff we've got. And the other is the Mitty Foundation in Austin. And same thing with the Mitty Foundation. We've got Dana Mitty, who's the associate director for Brownsville. We've got Khalif Molstad, who's executive director in Austin. We've got Julie Gunn, who's on staff for us and provides all types of support for us as board members. But none of those are a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job or anything like that.
Right.
So that's why I would keep those 3, because they'd be the least demanding on my time. My focus and my priority would be the city of Brownsville.
Excellent. Well said. And I think that says it all right there. Let me get through some more comments we've got here. Isn't Boca Chica a state highway? The state is responsible for it. I thought it was a Cameron county highway. It is a state.
Yep.
But they did have to consult Brownsville somewhat to say this is what we plan on doing. So I don't know. I don't think enough objection was raised. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't know that Brownsville would even be able, even if Brownsville did object to what they were proposing, at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, it's our road. What are you going to do? And I'm not saying that's how it happens or doesn't happen or did happen or didn't happen. That I don't know. But we've all seen it. County trumps city, state trumps county. And, we're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of, that this thing is never going to get fixed. This flooding issue is just going to be there until something drastic happens. Maybe a bomb blows up a section. And then now, we got to fix everything anyway.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have said that. Didn't mean that. A bit late, but hello. Hi, Lynn. Welcome to the discussion here with Roy. What are some of your thoughts on improving public transportation?
Get rid of it.
I don't know that would qualify as improvement. Public transportation, and I know all of these things are always going to come down to funding, but one, we need to get those shelters up. We've got bus shelters that are sitting in a warehouse not being put up. That's a waste of taxpayer money.
There has to be money somewhere to pay for the labor to put these things up.
We'll find it. I guarantee you. If I get elected, I guarantee you we'll find it. We will make it happen. Even if I have to get private sector to come in and help us with this, we will make it happen. But there needs to be extended hours on routes. There needs to be more routes. That's just a problem we've seen throughout the city. And I know that's something we've encountered as part of Sombreto Festival. Back when it was the Brownsville urban system, there was a lot more flexibility, and we were able to run a charter from Sunrise Mall to Washington Park so that people didn't have to worry about parking downtown. But now that it's Metro, there's different federal regulations that apply, and they're limited on what they can do. So where we could subsidize it before Sombreto Festival, we cannot do that while it's Metro, because then it's getting into charter territory and unfair competition with other folks who run charter services out there.
Right.
So the restrictions are different, and now it would fall to the taxpayers to run something like that. So it's about prioritizing. We've got so much money. We need to see what are the primary basic needs first and foremost of our city, and that's infrastructure. Transportation is part of that infrastructure. We do that before we get into all the added on perks, quality of life issues.
Yeah, the problem I would see with expanding routes would be ridership. I would say there'd have to be a big marketing push for get people to ride the bus.
Yep.
You can't expand service if you're not going to have ridership to support the cost, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to get people. I know people love to drive their cars here in Brownsville, but trying to get into this big city. I mean, you go to Chicago, you don't even have to own a car. You can hop on a CTA, Chicago Transit Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Hop on a bus to a train, or hop on a train.
Do your little bus stop shelter thingies have because I seen one today in Chicago, and I'm like, well, that's really freaking cool. It was like a little solar panel on top, and it had a little fan on the inside. So, and it was just generating airflow on the inside, which definitely helps, especially if you're 180 years old and you're sitting in here waiting for a damn bus for 25 minutes.
I cannot speak firsthand on these, but I would shock me if we had anything that elaborate and fancy.
From the ones that I've seen,
it's the first one I've ever seen in Chicago. I'm like, well, that is freaking cool.
Well, I've seen them. I forgot what city I was at. It's a cold weather city. They have it up north somewhere, and they had, like in a shower, you got that red lamp you can buy that provides heat for when you get out the shower. Mm-hmm. They have the heat lamps too, because when it gets wintertime, even though you're sheltered, it's still freaking cold.
Yep, and it's all solar powered. And
the ones that I've seen in Brownsville, of the few that are up, those are not fancy at all. I mean, they are. Yeah. I'm assuming they're plexiglass, not real glass. I imagine that. And I don't even think
that's almost like being in a greenhouse.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a bench in there, if I'm not mistaken. I just think it's a place to stand and be protected from the elements or rain anyway.
Mm-hmm. Rain, and at least if it's got a dark cover, so I mean you're not standing in direct sunlight.
Yeah. Shauna says trans in DC is freaking Levine. Freaking Levine. She's from PA and is responsible for thousands of nursing home deaths.
What? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding this.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out, Sean. The trans in DC is freaking.
Okay, so she's saying a trans in DC. I guess the name is freaking Levine or Levine. She's from Pennsylvania and responsible for thousands of nursing home deaths. So she's a transvestite or a transgender nurse, and she's killed like several thousands.
How is she? Oh, yeah. Sean, they got to tell me more.
Thousands? I've never heard. I can't. That would be a serial killer within the thousands. I've never heard of anything like that.
Even in the hundreds, it'd be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the process of nominating citizens for any board is more about how familiar a citizen is with commissioners versus qualifications. Do you agree with that?
I won't disagree with that. What I will say, and thank you for raising that, Ladybug. I know personally when I apply for a board, I'll reach out to every commissioner, and their email addresses are on the city website. And I'll just let them know I'm putting in my application. Here are my qualifications. Here's why I think I'm qualified for this. So I know I don't apply for a board unless I believe I'm qualified for it in the first place. Now, how much effort commissioners and the mayor are putting into going through those applications and vetting them to determine that these folks are qualified, I couldn't say. If what I've seen in the past is any indication, and this was prior to this administration, they were not vetting these folks at all. And that's part of why I first got involved with the Board of Adjustment. Have I told you guys this story on the Board of Adjustment?
I
Don't think so, but
This is an important one. So my ex-father-in-law does draft work for architects, and they had to go get a variance for a project they were working on Elizabeth Street. The variance was granted, and back then that board was really loose. They would grant just basically every variance without applying the law in any way, shape, or form. After the meeting, my father-in-law went back to the business with the business owner so they could start working on the timeline for the construction plans. The chairman of the Board of Adjustment came to the business and said, "Hey," and this is from what my ex-father-in-law told me. He says, "I just granted your variance. Aren't you going to buy me dinner, buy me a drink, something?" As soon as I heard that, I knew I had to get on that board and clean it up. And this board in particular, because I chaired this same board for the city of South Padre for several years. And I know what a well-run board looks like, and clearly Brownsville did not have it. When I got inside, the board members, and I can't blame them entirely, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing. But part of the reason they didn't know what the hell they were doing was because there was no orientation. There was no orientation packet. They were not taught anything about what the position was. And the folks who were giving them advice and direction, and that includes the department head and the assistant city attorney assigned to that board at the time, were giving them horrible advice. With a quasi-judicial board, it's just like a court of law. You can't have ex parte communications. Everything has to happen in a hearing, and the entire public should be able to watch and see what's going on and what evidence is being considered. And these board members are being told, "Oh no, if you've got a case coming up, go knock on their door. Go do your own investigation. Go meet them and check things out for yourself." And if that's happening, who knows if a bribe's being offered, if a bribe's being solicited? Nobody knows what the hell's going on. I mean, it was a shit show. That's exactly what it was. It was a shit show, and we've cleaned it up. I'm very proud. We've got Howard Slackman, who's chairman of the board now. He's doing an outstanding job. We've got everybody else is all brand new from the time that I first joined this board. This board knows their business. They know the law, and they're applying it the right way so that citizens' rights and property owners' rights are protected. So that's a testament to what can happen, but it really took those of us on the board taking the bull by the horns, recruiting good, reliable people, qualified people, and then lobbying the commission to say, these are the folks that need to be on this board. That's how we made it happen. And I don't know if that's because the commission has so much going on, they don't have the time, or they just don't know enough about these boards to know what qualified and not qualified looks like. But that's something I plan to enlighten a lot of them on, especially when it's not an advisory board, when you've got real power where you're handling millions of dollars of taxpayer money, or where you're applying the law to people's rights. There's got to be a lot more attention to detail and qualifications here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that Ladybug, thank you for that comment, Lupito. And I know that question is coming up in a second here. Joe says, I believe Roy would work with each and every city commissioner, regardless of who they are. In order to get things done, you need to work with them because everyone only has one vote. Exactly right. Lupito's comment was, if you win, will we ever see you again? And
oh yeah,
you know, this has come up before, and you know, this goes to the current situation where some people don't even know. I don't even know who all the commissioners are, except for the ones that their names keep coming up who have been there for a while. And it's kind of not transparency, and I know it's not the commissioner's job to be in front of a camera or talk to the press every day. Not that we have a press here, but they would definitely like to see you and hear from you on a regular basis for some reason, just to know that you guys are still there working on the board, on the commission. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure it was on your show that I've said this before, and I'm 110% committed to this. If I'm elected, and we'll work it out, whether it's the night of every city commission meeting. If we want to do a late show, I will come on your show after every meeting, or I will come on the next day after any city commission meeting and answer any questions citizens have about any votes that were taken, why I voted the way I did on any issues. I want 100% accountability to every citizen of Brownsville. and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be very, very available to you guys. Plus, I do want to see a town hall at least once a quarter, and hosted by different groups with interest in the community, whether it's the Brownsville Police Officers Association, the Brownsville Firefighters, some of our community groups like Frontera Progressives. Whoever wants to host these, I'm open to it, because I want to hear from everyone, and the citizens need to have access to their elected officials.
That's awesome. I do appreciate that. And yes, people will appreciate that. Definitely. I wanted to clear up Shonda's comment. She messaged me. The trans doctor, it's a trans doctor, Dr. Levine. She forced COVID positive patients into nursing homes in Pennsylvania last year. Of those patients, 14,000 of them died. And now she's kissing Joe Biden's butt. That was her comment.
Oh, this is the one that's in charge of.
Oh. Okay.
So that's the one that we were talking about.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Put two together there.
Yeah. And my only question would be, when we're talking about these folks being put into nursing homes, was it with the knowledge and intent that they're sick and contagious and are going to infect the rest of the patients there? I don't know enough about the background.
I wonder if it was around the same time frame Como was doing it, and we just didn't know, and everybody thought, well, they need the help, so let's send them to the nursing homes where they can get it, not knowing exactly what it was and what the potential outcome could be.
Yeah,
you would think it was obviously an honest mistake, not something she didn't intend for people to die. At least I hope not.
Whether it was honest or an honest mistake, or whether it was intentional, I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that the individual is trans.
Good point. Absolutely. Hope to continue to see mixed use development in downtown Brownsville.
I agree, and let me say on that, we heard a lot during the general election of how stagnant Brownsville is and how dead downtown is. I'm downtown every weekend. I have brunch downtown every weekend when I can. Constantly, I see businesses expanding. I see new businesses coming in. I know the Whiskey Tavern is one of the newest ones down there. Tara's has more than doubled its size from when it moved to its old location to its new location, and continues to do great things there. And there's a new business, I understand, opening up next to the library. So these things are happening. These things are coming. I see progress there. And of course, on the north side, whether it's housing construction is going on, new businesses that are opening up, new stores that are coming in. So I think business is good. It can be better. It can absolutely be better in Brownsville, and cleaning up the permitting process will be a big part of that. But Brownsville is not stagnant.
Y'all need like a Starbucks or Caribou coffee inside your library.
I like that. I'm a big coffee guy. I'm not going to go for one brand or another, but yeah.
What is your?
I like local shops.
What is your feeling on the CDC's comment yesterday that if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask anymore? It's pretty much what they said.
I understand where they're coming from with that. I don't agree with it, and I don't know if it's political pressure or if in their expert opinion that's what they truly believe. But let me say, for me personally, one, I lost my grandfather in January to COVID, 94 years old, World War II veteran. And I had not seen Grandpa since his birthday last May. And so that was really tough to lose him without getting to see him before he passed. Two, in the city of Brownsville, Juan Urrutia. He's a young man that I went to high school with. We were on the tennis team together. He was a year behind me. Works for Brownsville as a paramedic. Was vaccinated, for everything I can tell, in good health, not overweight, not obese, anything like that. He has contracted a very aggressive strain of COVID and had to be airlifted to a hospital in San Antonio. Wasn't a ventilator. I was checking posts today, and it looks like he's starting to show some positive signs. But this is someone who's in the medical field, who knows how to take precautions, who was already vaccinated and is on a ventilator now. So to tell me it's completely safe out there when we know the virus is continuing to mutate, I'm not going to buy it from anybody. I'm going to continue to wear my mask when I'm out in public as much as possible. I'm going to continue to patronize businesses that keep that practice in place and that encourage it. And I'm not saying refuse service to someone who doesn't want to wear a mask, but I think at a minimum, good practices should be encouraged by everyone. And when I wear a mask, it's not just for my protection, but it's for the protection of those I love as well and the people around me. Because if I pick it up and don't know it, I sure as hell don't want to spread it.
Yeah, I'm a, because I do travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I have to have my mask on for the moment I step into that airport in Brownsville until 9:30 at night when I land and arrive at my final destination airport. Only then can I whip it off my face. And from, I hate this thing. I hate the fact that we have that we have to wear this thing. Do I feel safe without it? I actually do. I'm not gonna wear it outside in public, in the fresh air. I'm not gonna wear it as I'm driving my car by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Although in Illinois, I think Bam, you told me this. If you've got other people in the car that are not your immediate family, you have to wear a mask. You all have to be wearing a mask.
Yes, and according to our lovely president, if that's what you want to call him, he's a puppet, but he wants you to wear a mask on the interstates, whether you're the only one in the car or not. He wants you to wear that damn mask on an interstate in a car.
Yeah, and and wearing a mask, I don't know. I'll probably, even though Walmart made the other announcement was that Walmart is saying you don't have to wear a mask anymore when you come into our stores. Unless there's a local ordinance or or a county or state ordinance that says you still have to.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go to Walmart now without one. Knowing what we know ever since this started and droplets flying in the air. And then if you've seen the movie Outbreak, have you seen the movie Outbreak?
I love the movie Outbreak.
That scene in the theater when they're at the movies, the guy's sick and he's coughing in the movies, and they show you the little droplets flying around and getting into people are laughing and they're just okay. That kind of freaked me out. So, and not only for COVID, but just in general, somebody sneezes right next to me. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to breathe where you just sneeze, right?
Exactly.
So for that reason, I'll probably still wear it for a little while. Even I'll wear it indoors. I don't want to freak people out. I'm not going to be a mask hole like I've been pushing everybody for the last few months. Don't be a mask hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably wear it, but I don't enjoy it. And if I'm outside, I'm not going to wear it in public.
Yep.
And I don't know, it depends on the feeling that I get, whether or not I'll wear it indoors somewhere.
I don't know the exact numbers on this, but I remember years ago seeing a video of a gunshot and a sneeze. And the sneeze travels faster than a gunshot does.
Yeah,
but
when it first comes out of the barrel.
Further. Yeah. So, I mean, that's quite powerful behind the sneeze. I mean, if it can travel faster than a bullet, that's a pretty powerful damn sneeze.
The force of a sneeze, believe it or not, is incredible. And if you can say it's stronger than a bullet coming out of a barrel, that's why when people say, when you're going to sneeze, just let it out. Don't try to hold it. You can blow your brains out. It actually can happen. You can actually hurt yourself by trying to hold in the sneeze.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. Yeah. So you don't agree with the lifting of the mask mandate that, again, this is from the CDC. Take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. The biggest reason I think is because this virus is mutating. We know that for a fact. And the best way to stop that is to eradicate it.
Well, and that's why it's mutating, because it knows that man has something that can kill it.
Right.
So the only way to stay alive is to change or mutate.
Yeah, it's got to evolve, but it also needs to find hosts. And when we stop wearing the mask, we make it easier for it to find a host.
Oh, and not only that, I mean, it's going to find the host with the weakest immune system. And where's that? Generally in your poorer neighborhoods, people with like asthma or an immune type deficiency like AIDS or HIV.
Or a lot of people with diabetic people.
Yep.
And also the caravan that came up from Bolivia and Brazil and all the way through Mexico. They came from very poor regions, not a lot of food, not very good health care. They are extremely weak. They are great breeding grounds for diseases.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that a lot of those people are coming up here and they are positive, and we don't hear much of it afterwards. I'm imagine we're treating them.
One would only hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick comment here from Joe. Now that you're in a runoff election, can you still say something nice about your opponent?
Absolutely. Jessica's still a great wife, great mother.
She's got great hair.
She's got nice hair. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing negative to say about Jessica. I really think everything that I see about her, great family, but I can tell her heart is in the right place. She wants to do good for the community. She wants to tackle the things that she feels we're weak on as a community. And I don't doubt that she could make a difference in some way. I just think I'm better qualified. Just because of my background, because of my accomplishments, because of my business acumen, I think I'm better qualified and can accomplish a lot more for the people. One, because I've got a relationship with them. And I know somebody made the comment earlier about having to work with everyone. Working with everyone does not mean bartering for votes. I'll absolutely work with everyone, but how I vote on an issue is going to be based on the merit of the issue. It's not going to be on, well, who's proposing it and how did they vote for something that I wanted before. That's not what it's about. It's about you look at any and every vote that comes before you and just say, is it good for the people? Is it bad for the people? That's how you measure it. That's how you weigh it. That's how you determine how to vote.
Yeah. Are you one? Did I read this about you? Somebody said you were out giving away free food. Is that something that happened, or were they just talking?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there was the meet and greet at Cobbleheads, which was hosted by a relative of mine. So there were hors d'oeuvres. I think it was some pasta and salad. So yeah, there was free food at that event. We did do the free chicken plates on the last day of early voting. And that was specifically because for some people, they've only got their lunch hour. And a lot of times you don't have enough time to go vote and go have lunch. And so we said, you know what? Let's offer a free chicken plate. That way it's convenient. Drive by, cast your vote, grab your plate, go back to work. And it wasn't about who you voted for. We didn't ask for proof that people had voted. If there was folks that was just hungry around town that came up and asked for a plate, they got a plate from us.
Yeah.
And I know there's a voter registration drive coming up on Tuesday. I'm not hosting this. I didn't organize this. I will be attending it. And I know a local business is offering some hors d'oeuvres for that as well. But that's just like any type of little event you have. You're going to have finger foods. You're going to have something.
And it's funny because it's been done forever, right? It's been done forever.
Yes. Well, my opponent did that.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, Roy's giving away food. He's trying to buy his votes. He's giving away,
No, I know my opponent, and there's nothing wrong with it. My opponent did that. The day we were giving out the chicken plates, they were giving out, I don't know if it was hot dogs or tacos or what it was. But yeah, you can even look at her page and her post, and it says, come by and get your goodies while they last. And I don't begrudge any candidate for wanting to give the people something that can be a benefit to them. It's not about buying their vote. Yeah. That's not what it's about.
It's good PR. It's good. It's nice to do something for the people. Again, you're not asking who they voted for, or that kind of thing. Rosie, hey, welcome, Rosie. As I listen to committee selection, I completely agree with those applications are not reviewed. Names are placed on the list, and that's about it. Having applied for several of such committees, a certain pattern arises, and hopefully closer attention will be given to review them properly. And I will say, I became a member of the airport advisory board, and yeah, there was no vetting process or anything like that. It was, I did the application, I sent it in. A few weeks later, I got a welcome phone call and email, and I thought it was an interview or something, but it wasn't, unless there was enough data in my application where they said, "Oh yeah, this guy qualifies," or I don't know. I don't know how they select. I don't know what the criteria is. But being that I work for an airline, maybe that made me a better candidate than someone who was not.
Maybe. And one thing I'll say about those boards is my concern is that it seems like their role has been changed. It used to be that boards that are appointed by the commission would at some point report back to the commission. And as I understand it, they're changing that to where now they report to the department that they fall under. My concern would be that if there's concern about how that department is being run and they generate a report that states such, it's easy for the department to bury it and it never sees the light of day. I think it's important that these boards still have some type of reporting mechanism back to the commission, back to the elected officials, so that if there are problems in that department, they get looked into.
Yes, understood. David Lee, Roy's an open book. If you ask a question, he will answer it. If you like the answer or not, that's a whole other story, but he will answer it truthfully.
Amen.
And I will say Roy has not shied away from
anything
at all. You know,
Never will.
He's every time I brought something up to his attention, or he's messaged me, and I want to talk about this. I want to discuss this. And he's not shying down from anything. So
and you can tell him, man, and I've told Manny offline when we're setting up these interviews, I'm like, don't hold back. Don't pull any punches with me. Come at me full force, because I want the people to know that I'm willing to handle the tough questions, and I'll always answer honestly.
And that's why we opened up, it seemed like, with just an LGBTQ topic that lasted forever, because that's most of the talk that we've been seeing, all the chatter back and forth on comments and posts has been that.
Yep.
So I wanted to get that out of the way for those that are very, very concerned with it, to, you know, get to hear you on it one more time.
Absolutely.
And it would
and let
surprise
me say
me.
to those folks, you know, I don't have any ill will towards you guys. I don't hate you guys. I understand that people can fear what they don't know and don't comprehend. So I sympathize with you guys on that. But like I said, you can relax. This is not about trying to be a threat to your religious beliefs. It's not about trying to be a threat to your lifestyle. It's not about trying to turn Brownsville into some big gay city. It's about Brownsville being a place where everybody is equal and everybody's welcome and everybody gets equal protection of the laws for all citizens, all the way around. It's not about preferential treatment.
And if you don't know, do research, ask questions,
Please
educate yourself. I mean, that's how you kill ignorance, is through education. I mean, like one day, Mayor Beetlejuice said the word ambiguous. I had no freaking clue what that was. So the first thing I did is pick up my phone and I'm like, define ambiguous. You know, so, you know, that's the only way to kill ignorance is through learning and reading and research.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and be open to learning and be open to
absolutely
everything. I mean, we're in a day and age, again, we're in 2021. This isn't the 40s anymore. You know, people are people. I don't know why it's, I hate this whole.
Oh, no, that brings me back to the 70s. People are people who are people. You remember that song? People are people? Maybe it was the 80s.
Oh, people are people. Yeah, but that was Depeche Mode.
Yes. Thank you.
Joe, will there be a debate with the two District 3 candidates? I am going to reach out to Jessica. I'm hoping to have her on the show in the next week. And I would like to do something like that. I'm sure Roy would be accommodating to that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping Jessica would also. That would be, I will try to put that together, Joe.
And I would encourage you on that one, Manny, because, and I know we had that, I think, with one of the last discussions with Jessica. I could tell she was really eager for it to be a true debate, not just a forum. And I'm absolutely up for that. And I think it'll be great to have both of us sharing our ideas in that type of a format.
Yes, I agree. Linda Lopez, accessibility. Accessibility is a huge issue. Once candidates get elected, mostly their reaching out to citizens tends to end. Case in point, Commissioner Munguia. How is it possible a tradition of missing meetings is okay? Yeah, people have a problem with that, and I would agree with Linda. You know, and then I'm going to bring up this other point because I brought it up. Her name came up in one of the last shows we had. Bam, you remember the commissioner and how she was dressed for an event. But the way people, what's going on with, you know, attire? And, you know, I always had a problem with the previous mayor who was always out in sporting his vest jacket or whatever you want to call it. And like he was about to go fishing or something. And, you know, what is it? I know we're a smaller community. It's not that small. It's almost 200,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, what's the deal with people not dressing for meetings anymore? I mean, and I will say this, even Ms. Gowan, I've seen her a bunch of times. Looked like she's been working in the backyard, and she gets on live, and just that professionalism isn't there. And it bothers the piss out of me. I'll be honest, it bothers the piss out of me.
Well, let's keep a couple of things in mind. I think at our level, a lot of us are professionals, but we come from one of the poorest cities in the country. And I think it's more important to me to want to be accessible and to want people to feel that I'm approachable. And I just made this comment last night to someone. I remember the forum that the Brownsville Police Officers Association hosted. The other gentleman there was Mr. Valdez, Commissioner Nice, Erasmo Castro, and myself. All three, and Carlos Elizondo. And Carlos, by far the sharpest dressed in the room. Very nice suit, always looks a great part. Erasmo, Ben Nice, and Mr. Valdez were all wearing coats. I don't think all of them were wearing ties, but they may have all been wearing ties. I was in, just like I am tonight, my Voico Roy shirt with a pair of khakis and a pair of dress shoes, but I was dressed very casually. And part of that is because I think about my audience. And like I say, especially when people are saying Roy's part of the elite, I'm not going to come in here trying to look like some big Wall Street guru tycoon that don't get me dirty, don't get too close, don't touch the suit. No, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. So I understand the concern about dressing for the part, but I also feel like we need to bring ourselves down. We are not the elite. We are not here to govern or reign over the people of Brownsville. We're here to represent the people of Brownsville. And I want people to feel comfortable approaching us and telling us what their concerns are and what their problems are and having a conversation with us.
Well, okay, and I get that.
He brings up a perfect point. If you dress like your people that you're serving, they're going to be apt to more come up and talk to you and speak with you and interact with you than if you walk up to somebody wearing a 3-piece suit that costs $5,000.
See, but I'm not talking about you at a public appearance or in town or you're talking to people that way. I'm talking about an official city meeting. To me, dress minimum business casual. If you know what business casual is.
Yeah. And are you referring to during the pandemic and when it's Zoom meetings, or are you talking even pre-pandemic?
I don't care any kind of meet. I don't care if there's a pandemic or not. If it's an official city meeting, I think business casual at the very least. You don't have to wear a tie necessarily. Don't have to wear a jacket, but don't look like you've been just gardening in the backyard. Pulling your carrots out of the ground. That's my thing. That's my thing.
And I respect that. We'll have a difference of opinion on that. And I think me more so because I've heard attacks on Commissioner Gowan. I've heard attacks on Commissioner Tetru for the way they dress. And it was petty to me and it was low. And especially when some of these folks are talking about how women need to be respected. But then I hear them attacking a woman for how she looks, for what she's wearing. It's disappointing that that's where we're going in Brownsville. And I know one of the comments that was
go ahead.
Well, one of the comments that was made about Commissioner Gowan was that at the police officers forum that she looked like a homeless person and that they knew homeless people that dressed better than Dr. Gowan and that she was incoherent and incapable of answering a single question. But that's not an event that was televised or streamed. It was just recorded for the membership of that association, but I was there. I saw it firsthand. There's not one shred of truth to any of those things that were said about Dr. Gowan. She was as eloquent and as professional as she always is in answering the questions. And she was she wasn't dressed up in business attire. It was a little more casual, but it was very nice. It looked very traditional. It looked like a Mexican blouse that had some stitching and hand-sewn designs on it. I saw nothing wrong with it at all. And to see her being attacked for her appearance and to be said that they think she's medicated, that's horrible.
Well, that's a whole other, that's something different. I mean, in my situation, from what I saw myself, and this is the most accurate description of what she looked like, was that she had just come up from the backyard gardening. She had the cap on. The hair was messy. It was obviously... And you show that photograph to 1,000 people, and they'll say, "Oh, she was out working in her garden in the front or in the back."
Send me that because I want to see which one you're referring to.
I will look it up and I'll
Thank you.
send that to you.
Cool.
And,
I thought you were going to talk about that woman in the white cocktail dress with the tatas.
Okay,
pouring
so
out.
that's the other thing. Last week we talked about Jessica Tetro. She was at some event, at a city related, maybe related somehow. I think
it wasn't a city event, but I think the city sponsored it in some way.
Yeah, and so the question there was that appropriate kind of thing? Then it came out later. Well, it's kind of a red carpet kind of thing, a Hollywoodish kind of situation. So, and honestly, after thinking about it, to me, it's like, you know what? Everybody's entitled to their own private time and what they do, and it's not like it was. If it was official city business, I would have a problem with it.
Right.
But it was more of a social affair. So, not that in my opinion matters, but I'll give her a pass on that one because it was not city business or whatever.
I thought she looked great. I mean, and I can understand when we're talking about it being, even if it's a social event, if it's a formal event, then whether you're wearing a longer gown versus a shorter cocktail type dress.
Well, it didn't need to be a titch longer than what it was.
Yeah, it was.
But I think Commissioner Tetru is a beautiful woman, and I think she's not shy and not ashamed of her body, and I think that's commendable. And especially
Definitely
in this
not
day
shy.
and age with the other with younger women in our community, we want them to know that they should feel comfortable in their own skin as well. So I applaud her for that.
I get
in that
feeling
respect.
comfortable in your own skin, but leave something to the imagination. Sweet Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
and two, also, I think this matters, but she was with her husband. It's not like she was out by herself.
Right.
Not that matters really, but she was right there with hubby. So it's not like,
there was
Next,
nothing torrid going on.
Shonda says about that doctor, they knew they were positive. Once the hospital determined they didn't need life support, she gave the edict to return them to nursing homes still contagious. I have a copy of the letter. 5 states did this. Her gender is irrelevant. With concussion making, let's see. I lost something there in the concussion making. Bam, just mentioned her. Okay, gotcha. The box stores should keep masks required for a while yet, and I'm pretty sure they will. One comment that came up to me here in her decision making. Gotcha. When we were talking about the dress code a minute ago, and you said sometimes you bring yourself down to the people's level, that kind of almost sounded a little condescending, like bring yourself down, like everybody's dressed like a bum, kind of.
Well, yeah, and I don't want it to come across that way, and I can understand how that would sound. Fortunately for me, I was told to dress up for this campaign. Anybody that knows me, and because I work from home most of the time, anybody that knows me, when you'd see me out in public, I was usually in shorts and flip-flops. And that was one of the first things my consultants told me was, you've got to stop wearing shorts and flip-flops. You've got to put on long pants. You've got to put on dress shoes. I'm doing that more often, but my preferred attire is blue jeans with flip-flops. That's just part of who I am.
No more zooming in your boxers.
No, I don't do that. Sometimes in my sweatpants. But yeah, so I don't. I guess when I say bring ourselves down, I'm just thinking, am I going to put the tie and the dress shirt on, or am I going to be casual? But when I'm casual, that's really who I am. That's a lot more who I am. That's my everyday persona.
For comfort. I'm 110% for comfort.
Yep. So button-down shirt. I don't have a problem, no tie at all, but at least a button-down shirt.
Yep.
And look business casual.
You'll see me in that a lot if I'm elected. I've invested in a lot of button-down shirts that I did not have before, and luckily I went to because I'm not part of the elite. I went to the clearance rack at Dillard's. Yes, I was still at Dillard's, but I was at the clearance rack and I bought like 5 shirts for about $100.
Did you at least buy the rainbow?
I got some with a lot of colors on them.
Carol's going to say good night. She had a great show. Thank you, Carol.
Good night, Carol.
Night, Carol.
And Shonda. So here's a question. If we were pounded with follow CDC guidelines for a year and people did just that, why would we not do the same now? Do we believe what we want to believe or believe their expertise?
Well, let's frame that properly. The CDC guidelines aren't saying stop wearing masks, you're no longer allowed to wear them. They're just saying it's not an absolute requirement. That's my understanding of the guidelines. You guys understand that any differently?
I
That's the way
understood.
I understand.
I understood
you know,
the CDC telling me if I was vaccinated that I didn't have to wear a mask.
in
That's
But
what
they're not
most
saying you
places.
can't wear a mask.
Right. Oh, of course. Right.
It's still a matter of choice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to go to Meijer and go grocery shopping without a damn mask. I've been doing it for the past year.
See, but then you have another issue with asthma and needing airflow in.
You know what I'd like to see most? I'd like to see our stores like our Walmarts and I don't know if HEB was doing it before, but I'd like to see our stores go back to 24 hours.
Yes. Oh,
But it's a
yeah.
lot
would
easier
too.
for me to go at 2 or 3 in the morning when there's fewer people. I feel less at risk. I'd be more comfortable, and it's just
Right.
convenient.
Amen to that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you get up at 3 o'clock to pee and you're like, oh, well, hell, I just may as well stay up. So then you're thinking, well, I got to run to the grocery and get this, and this for dinner. It's like, let's do it now. 3 o'clock in the damn morning. Let's go.
Yeah, I've done groceries many times at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5
Yeah.
and
It's
6 at
amazing
Walmart.
how
Awesome,
fast
isn't
you
it?
can get in and out of there at 3
Beautiful.
o'clock in the damn morning.
Yes, Roy knows how to get things done the fair way across the board.
Thank you.
Seems
Angel.
like it. Seems like it. Yes. Linda Lopez, Bam, you are so correct. Candidate used the word castigate. Yes, I looked it up. Lupito, Brownsville is a port, not Chicago or Dallas. Yeah, that's true. Manny, I agree with you on the dress code, but I am a 26-year military retiree. Yeah, so see, you would have different standards.
Yeah.
And not that we're both right or anybody's wrong necessarily,
Right.
but it's just, to me, it's more of the what's that first impression, and just when you put together who somebody is and how they dress. Maybe once you get to know somebody, then you start getting a little more comfortable with them dressing a little down and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron County is a beach bum county. We live to be barefoot.
I am a
believe
parrot
that.
head. I'm a proud parrot head.
Hey, does the island still have that? Is it an ordinance? If mayor sees you somebody with a tie, he'll come by and just cut your tie right off.
I don't even think it's just the mayor. I thought it was like the law enforcement could cut your tie off if you were wearing. I haven't seen that in writing.
Yeah,
That's my understanding is the unofficial policy.
yeah.
All right,
Bam, if you go to the island and you got a tie on, a shirt and tie, I heard, and I thought it was only the mayor, but they can actually come and cut your tie and take it right off you.
No, I don't own one of these, but a friend of mine does. He owns an Armani tie that he paid $10,000 for.
Holy crap.
Now, if some motherfucker came up and cut that tie, I guarantee you that person would be on the damn ground and a lawsuit slapped in their damn face.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I mean,
Yep.
that's disrespectful to come up and slice somebody's tie. It doesn't matter if you're having fun or not. I mean, that's disrespectful. That costs that person's money. It doesn't matter if it was $1 or $100,000.
Yeah,
You don't do that on somebody else's property.
I imagine there would be like a friendly warning. Hey, you better take that tie off, or we'll cut it off for you. And at which point they would take it off, I imagine. Linda Lopez.
So you don't take off a $10,000 tie and wad it up and put it in your pocket.
You also don't wear it to a town where it might get cut off.
True.
Well,
you're not gonna wear it. You're not gonna wear
people
it to
buy
an island.
it to wear it.
Petty is not congratulating a fellow colleague on her swearing in. Commissioner Gowan not being congratulated by Commissioner Tetro. Now that's pretty petty and unbecoming of a city commissioner. So did you hear about that whole mess?
I did not.
Yeah, apparently Jessica Tetro refused to congratulate her on the victory, and
that would surprise me because Jessica doesn't strike me as that type of individual. But if that's true, then I agree. That's petty, and that should be beneath us.
Yeah,
especially
I did hear that.
Once someone's elected, we've all got to work together for what's best for the people of Brownsville.
I did get that from a couple of different people that it happened, and that is unfortunate. I think that's not cool at all. Linda Lopez also, as far as attire for that Mars event, don't worry, there will be a part 2 to such event. Oh yeah, probably. It was the gold bandeau wrap dress. Those dresses are beautiful and not forgiving. Got to be fit and lean to wear something like that. I don't know if you saw the dress or not, but
I did.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, and it might look more palatable to some folks if someone is fit and lean, but it goes back to body image for women, and I don't think a woman should feel like, no, you're not in good shape enough. You should not be wearing that, or you cannot wear that. I think women of all sizes and all body types are beautiful.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
seen plenty
I
of women
totally
size
agree.
18 and 20 that they look amazing in what they wear.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, they just may
have
be a little
no,
thick boned, but are they overly fat? No, not really.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with her physical attributes. It was just, I don't know how tiny the thing was, more of that kind of thing.
Not everybody can look like Gal Goddamn Gadot.
Yeah.
Amen.
So what's coming up for you? What events do you have, or any, coming up in the next couple of weeks or so?
I'll be attending the voter registration drive at 1848 Barbecue on Tuesday night. I'm going to be scheduling likely one, if not two, meet and greets. And what we want to do is look at, now that the votes have been canvassed, where we were strongest and where we were weakest, and probably hold one in each of those areas. And then scheduling some block walking. And we will very likely have another day or two during early voting where we're distributing food. And again, it's because we want it to be convenient for folks to grab something on the go that doesn't cost them a dime, but in a way of encouraging them to come out and exercise their right to vote. Whether they're voting for me or voting for my opponent is neither here nor there. We just want people to get out and exercise their right to vote, because I think all of us can agree turnout is far too low in our community.
Yeah,
in every community.
One thing I wanted to go back to a little bit was these people that keep using the term part of the elite.
Yeah.
The elite club. And I know you touched on it. You touched on it a little bit when you talked about Trey and eating pizza the other day. That was today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was at the Lead Cheater Day.
And I know those comments and that clip will go around somewhere. I guarantee it. But again, going back, what do you say to somebody? You're in this little clique of the elite crowd, and I'm saying, my question has always been, well, why is he okay? What makes him elite? I don't get it. I'm a little ignorant.
Give us an example. Give us an example.
Yeah, my whole thing is, power perceived is power achieved. So you have the same people saying, "Oh, these people are part of the elite." Well, now everybody's just going to start to believe it because they keep hearing it over and over again. Mm-hmm. But nobody knows exactly what that is.
Right.
Why would you think somebody would think you are elite? And who is the elite crowd? I imagine the mayor's on that elite list.
Well, and that's why they assume that Roy is elite, because I believe the mayor had supported you in this endeavor that you're going in. So That's why they assume you're on the elite list.
And I think who is on the elite list is going to vary based on who you ask. Because I'm not going to say that there's not an elite class in Brownsville. I think that there is, and I think that needs to be straightened out because, again, I'm about equality. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. There should not be preferential treatment out there for anyone. But yeah, as far as how I am elite, I'd love to see an example.
You don't see it. I don't see it.
17-year-old vehicle. I work a blue-collar job. And anything I do, when I apply for a board, it's not a given that they see my name. They're going to appoint me. I lobby just like I would for anything else in any other area.
17-year-old car. I heard you drive a Porsche. No, is that wrong?
One, I would not fit in a Porsche. I tried getting in a Porsche once. It belonged to a friend, and I'm like, didn't even bother trying to start it because there was no way I could shift. It was a manual transmission. I'm like, nope, sports cars are not for me. I drive a 2004 Ford Expedition.
Last time I was in a damn Corvette, I think I was 14 years old. And I was getting out of that damn thing. I'm like, God, I feel like I'm getting out of a damn bathtub that's sunk into the damn ground. And ever since then, I said, yeah, no, that'll never happen. I'll never own one of these as much as I want it. I will never own one.
The Convention Tetro did look great for that event. Yep, not saying she didn't for sure. Calling it a night. Angel Lee, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for answering.
Have a great night, Angel. Hope to see you guys again.
I'm looking forward to Progressive United Community, One Brownsville, hashtag Roy D3.
I like that. And 3
Rosie.
is my lucky number.
Oh, there you go. As a citizen, this is from Rosie Williams. As a citizen of District 2, I am less concerned about fashion style, but more about traffic light on price to protect New Horizon Clinic patients. Oh yes, that area. And a few years ago, I had to go in and out of there a lot for over a summer. And there's some. We got into the traffic question, accident over accident, and we wait. There are some areas where, okay, so who do we talk to about this? It's got to be an ordinance. Okay, the Best Buy on Public is the only Best Buy we have here.
Oh yeah.
You exit the parking lot right onto Public Hill. You look left, guess what? You can't see because those bushes are way up, almost right on the freaking curb.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot see beyond that unless you stick your car out a little more and you keep creeping up until you get past it.
Yep.
There's got to be some kind of ordinance to prevent accidents from those bushes being so close to the curb that they block the view of oncoming traffic.
Yeah, there should be an ordinance that prevents that. And also, Public Hill is just one of those areas that was just so poorly planned when it was developed. It could have been so much better. It's disappointing.
Well, at midnight, all you got to do is go over there and take some pruning shears and cut it at the base, and there you go, Manny.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Take it into your own hands.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But I'm talking about for future planning. There should be some kind of ordinance that, what, we can't put bushes there because people can't see the traffic coming.
Common sense.
They keep sticking their nose out, their car further out, and there's going to be an accident, and I believe it has happened.
Then you can sue the city.
Let's see. Yes, accident. Diana E. Ramirez. Good evening. I just want to say thank you for saying all women are beautiful no matter what you wear. You
have beautiful eyes, Diana.
Beautiful eyes, Diana from BAM. She looked hot, Lupito says. Then we're going to skip over. I responded on a couple things. Tetro does. See, that's a stupid comment right there. Tetro does drag in public and is okay. Don't need to see that. Roy, anything different come up? Any of your concerns differently from when you started this thing to right now at this point?
Only that, that the narrative seems to have changed a little bit, and not on the large scale, but just with those folks who don't support me. That they're not talking about issues, or not talking about what I've done or not done in our community. They're coming after me for character, and they're coming after me for being gay and for the LGBTQ task force. So that's the only thing that's changed for me, is the issues that I came to tackle for the city to make our city better, which I still plan to tackle. Those are my top priority. I have to add to that list, the hate and the intolerance and the ignorance out there, because that reaffirms the need for something like an LGBTQ task force when we see these type of attacks going on, and when we see false information being brought in and mingled there with these arguments that are trying to be made. And I know progressives who will tell you, well, we're not going to support Roy publicly because he's too conservative. And then you've got conservatives out there saying Roy is a progressive and he wants a progressive and more liberal Brownsville. That's just on my radar now. Is if anybody's got to resort to lying or falsehoods or hearsay rather than doing their homework and going just based on facts, that's a concern. And there's no other good reason for them to do that other than targeting me because I'm gay.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that at all, not one bit. And the same goes for whether it's a male or female. The thing has been, it should be a man.
Right.
Long time ago, things have changed, and my stance has always been, I don't care if it's a woman or a man or a green alien, if they're qualified and they got a good head on their shoulders and they got great ideas, right, and they've got some experience that helps. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't care about anything else. It's none of my business.
I've said for years, men have been effing this country up for centuries. Let's put a woman in there and see what they can do. Although we just not Camellia, please. Let's figure out a different woman. No Camellia and no what's her nuts Clinton. No any two women, but those two.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't know. Did you see Kamala Harris was apparently together with Montel Williams many years ago?
Well, there's rumors and rumors that she slept her way to her positions. I believe it.
It's been said, and to some extent, it's been documented actually. But yeah, she was with Montel Williams. And there's a video of them coming out of a Grammy Award or something like that many years ago. And I don't know that does that matter or anything at all? Who knows?
No, but I mean, it doesn't matter how you got your damn position, just as long as you can do the damn job.
Again, Roy, you still impress me. People like you on the city commission. You'll be an asset to our city.
Amen.
And Shonda, liberal is a 4-letter word these days. More inclusive Brownsville doesn't mean more liberal in the current sense of the word. Yeah, and it's just you know what?
Thank you, Shonda.
Liberal or conservative, Democrat, Republican. You know, you would think at this again in 2021 this wouldn't even be an issue at all anymore. You know, based on just like Martin Luther King Jr. said, you know, judge someone on their character, you know, not on the color of their skin. And that fits here in this situation too. Just judge someone by their character, period. It could have ended right there.
I mean, it's not an issue. The people that are making an issue is people in the government are making it an issue. I mean, I personally believe in the past 4 or 5 years, there wasn't an issue with race in this country until just this past election was race brought up.
Well, I got opinions on that too, but you know, I don't want to be here till 6 a.m. So we'll save that for another show. Melida says, Roy, thank you for all your efforts in getting more people registered to vote.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And, you know, we're focusing on it right now because there's still time to register to vote before the runoff. But I have gone down to the registrar's office, and I am a volunteer deputy registrar now. So I will be continuing that work even after the deadline passes, and God willing, if I'm elected, even after I'm elected.
So where can people go register to vote as of right now? Is it still like the public library?
I don't even know if the public library is a place you can. It may be, but I know you can download the form online and mail it yourself or drop it off at the voter registrar's office. Go to my website, Vote for Roy. That's the number 4, voteforroy.com. My cell number's on there. My email address is on there. Reach out to me and I can come to you and give you a card and I can turn that in.
Can registering to vote be done online?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Everything I've seen is you can go online and download the form, but the instructions that I've seen still say you print it, complete it, and mail it in. I don't see that it says you can submit online.
Excellent. Linda Lopez, hope you continue focusing on solutions. That's the only thing that matters. Our city needs tons of solutions. Will you appear in at Osmo show now that your rule for candidate no longer applies?
Here's my reservation. Now, what I would like to do, because I have no reservations about squaring off with Osmo, but I would rather do it on a platform like this. And because the rule for me that still applies, and this was the same thing when that other site was bringing up my past, when they're using lies and when they're going low, I don't want to appear on something like that or give answers on that type of platform, because I don't want the public to think that's the place to go for facts and that's the place to go for information. And like I said, with Mr. Castro, and I'm happy to have a great conversation with him here on your show, but considering the way he's attacked Dr. Gowan for her attire and the way he's lied about her performance at forums that were not public facing, I don't believe that going on his show to answer questions versus doing it in this format would do any good. I think it just lends credence and credibility to his show, which I don't care to do because I don't think he's on the up and up with everything. Just too much of the information he gives off. I haven't seen the facts to back enough of it up. And when I start doing digging, it turns out that most of what I hear is false. So that's the only reason I would avoid a show like that, because I want to deal in fact, and I want you guys to have faith in the programs you're going to for answers.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's been said that you won't go on the show because he's right, and he knows that you know that he's right, and that's why you don't want to appear on that program.
Nope. I won't appear on that program because of the double standards and lies. You know, when they're saying I'm one of the original architects of the task force, that's a lie. All you've got to do is look at public record, the minutes of those meetings where my name is nowhere on any of those things until after this has been established. So where was the fact checking there? It's that simple. You just go on cob.us. You don't even have to submit a public information request. The info's there. Yet the lie is being told. And why? Because that's a great way to rile up the base against Roy de los Santos. So anybody that's going to be fear mongering and doing stuff like that without just taking the simple time to check a fact, no. That's why I won't go on that show, because it doesn't deal in fact enough. It's a sensationalist show.
Yeah, I have some issues with that as well. As far as I'm big on show me the evidence.
Exactly.
Show me the evidence. That's
show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the evidence.
Amen.
And
who was it that had asked that question?
That was I believe it was Linda Lopez.
Linda?
I think it was Linda.
Yeah.
I have no problem if that Osmo wants to come on this show and Manny can mediate and Bam can be here with us as well. I've got no problem answering questions and going toe to toe with him, but not on his platform. Again, because I don't want to lend credence to it. I want it to be a public forum like this.
I can reach through the monitor here and bitch slap Osmo around for you.
Yeah, that won't be necessary. Bam, good wishful thinking. Diana says, I've known Roy since we were kids. Let me tell you, when he puts his mind to something, he makes it happen. In high school, he always gave advice or helped people with their work. He was in the honor roll in student government. He's very smart and compassionate in what he does.
Oh, right there. That's why you're elite. You were on the honor roll.
Oh, you're on the honor rolls. That makes you elite.
In public school. In public school.
You were causing trouble even in public school. See what happens? Damn it. David Lee, Roy, we have your back and proud of you.
Thank you, guys. Love y'all.
And of course, everybody says, "Oh, people were saying that it's only family, and that's the only support he's getting." Well, I would beg to differ. I've had a lot of people message me privately saying that they were going to vote one way, but after listening to you, and I told you this last time too, that people were now changing their mind, or were seriously thinking about which way they were going to vote. Because a lot of what you said made a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. And again, in reference to Jessica Puente Bradshaw, another seemingly viable candidate. I mean, you guys both have, it's too bad we can't put you both together there at the same time to, to share a spot. But she also has a direction she wants to go in. And again, I'm going to reach out to her this week, and hopefully she'll make herself available. Linda Lopez, that's unfortunate, Mr. De Los Santos. As a wise political official once said, everyone needs to hear your message, but thank you for answering.
Well, I don't understand why that's unfortunate, because there's no greater reach that an Osmo show has that this show doesn't. So everyone can hear the message.
Yeah,
everyone can hear it.
I'm a big believer in, somebody once said, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And, I'd rather have a more valuable close set of friends or fans or whatever you want to call it, than thousands and thousands. And especially when they don't. There seems to be people try to equate fans with votes. And if that was the case, I mean, I don't know. I know what Osmo's trying to do good, and he means well. I get it. And it pisses me off that people that call him their fans or they believe in him didn't come out to vote. They just didn't come out to vote. You think that'd be a clear victory. And somebody posted a comment that, kind of pissed off at all his fans, saying, why, you guys should, call him a derogatory name, basically, for not coming out to vote. But who do they call when their puppy is lost? Who do they call when they have some discrepancy with the city, or my garbage didn't get picked up, or something happens, and he's there providing info. Call this number, call that number, or do this or do that. The lost dog. Everyone, please share. He's a missing person. Everybody, please share.
And I like that.
And he does that. Yeah. And he does that, and he'll put up everything. And he wants people and pets reunited. He wants missing people found, people that are burglarizing or whatever. He wants those photos put up. Yep. So, if he's doing something for you, why didn't you come and vote? And again, I think it's laziness. I think it's complacency with, complacency, or, that mentality that nothing's going to change. My vote's not going to count anyway. So
Yeah, like we saw in the BISD election, one vote can make a difference.
yeah, and I've got some information on that too, which I'm going to put out next week.
Nice.
I've got some Sylvie Atkinson data information and some BISD stuff with the Marisa Leal lawsuit and mostly about Minerva Peña and why she hasn't done certain things. But we'll get to that next week, so tune into that.
Absolutely.
Week.
Yep, next week. So I hope Linda Lopez. I hope that answered your question. I think it's a valid response to that.
Absolutely.
I mean, who would want to go?
Good response.
I mean, who would want? And I will invite him. I mean, it's totally up to him if he's willing to do that. And obviously, if you're willing to do that,
absolutely.
Now that he is a public citizen, not a candidate, anymore.
Right.
So I will come in contact with him and see what he wants to do there. And then yes, it did. Okay, good.
And that's like just saying, if I were going to go on a talk show, I'd rather be on Phil Donahue and not Jerry Springer. And it's not because I don't want people to hear the message. It's that, I want to have a certain level of decorum and respect. And like we talk about dressing professionally, to me, I want to be in a professional environment. And I feel this is a good, reliable, impartial, professional environment.
That was a great analogy you used, Phil Donahue and Jerry Springer. Phil Donahue, very professional. Jerry Springer, very trailer park trashy.
Yeah, I went to see Jerry Springer, and it was very eye-opening, that's for sure.
I was on a show.
For those of you who don't remember Phil Donahue, maybe the younger crowd might not remember. A real white-haired guy. I think he was a pretty good program. I think it was really good. I don't remember. He was very conservative, wasn't he?
Oh, extremely conservative.
Yeah. Always had the good interview. Good guy to watch.
Isn't he the guy married to Connie Chung?
No,
that's Maury Povich.
Yeah.
Will you fight for Erasmo's voters?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Every even non-voters, every citizen of Brownsville is someone that I will fight for. But it's not just fighting for the sake of fighting. It's about we need to know where it is we want to go and what we want to achieve. It's not just about there's a problem and we need to squawk about it. It's about what's the solution? How do we fix it? And let's make that happen. Let's affect change. But yes, absolutely, for every voter, every non-voter, every citizen of Brownsville, I'm going to fight for each and every one equally.
Very good. Linda Lopez, coexisting is a great thing. Tolerance is essential as well. Yeah, coexisting is something we have to do. Tolerance is something we have to learn also. I think with Bam and I have talked about this before, like racism, any kind of thing like that. Especially young people that are racist. I mean, that's all learned from somewhere.
It's learned from their parents or their grandparents. It's learned. It's a learned trait or learned trait. You're not born racist. It's taught to you and you learn it and you follow it.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Racism is learned. And I think if young people were not exposed to that kind of thing, I mean, there's a lot of photographs. You see a lot of memes, a black child and a white child like hugging each other. Little kids, 1 or 2 years old. They don't know anything about color. And that's the way it should be.
And that's the way everybody should be. It doesn't matter if you're white, purple, green, orange, black. It doesn't matter. There's only one race on this planet, and it's the human damn race.
Bam, are you on Springer? You must share a link. Well, he was not. I went to the Springer program and watched as a viewer in the audience. I don't know if Bam's ever been there or not.
Bam threw the chair. No, no, I did not throw a chair.
By the way, that was Geraldo. That was a Geraldo.
Yeah, that was Geraldo. If you want to find the episode of Springer I was on, was actually titled, it was supposed to be, so I'm not sure how it's titled. It was supposed to be, My Family Has Seen Me Dressed in Drag for the First Time. But it turned into, my show turned into a real life 911 call. So it's going to be one of those two. And I'm going to be wearing a huge tiara and a green teal fringe evening gown with a sash.
Boy. Well, at some point we'll have to look that up. Phil Donahue, I was told that looked like him. Except
I
for
can
the
see that a bit. Yeah,
except for the
I can see
mustache
that.
and the beard, maybe.
Yeah.
Phil Donahue was a very clean cut kind of guy. I don't see it more like a Dos Equis guy. Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's the most. What is it? The mysterious man in the world, or something, or what was it? Dos Equis guy. Yeah, good one, Sean. I think we are going for the record breaking 3-hour mark. Let's go all the way for the 4 hours. Well,
I don't know if I got 4 hours in me tonight, boys.
You know, I've been up since 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty good time to wrap it up pretty soon.
Roy is ready for nappy town.
But I definitely want to go past the last record. We were at 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes or 3 hours and 1 minute last time. So yeah, let's definitely beat that because we're pretty much there already. But yeah, I'm not up for 4 hours tonight either.
Gotcha. Any well, I'll leave this point before we can move on and kind of end the official interview part. You ever seen the what's it called, an elevator interview, the elevator pitch? You're looking for a job and you're in an elevator with the guy who's going to hire you. You got just a couple of minutes to tell him why Roy de los Santos. And boom, I just hit the button for the third floor. Go ahead.
Wait, say that one more time.
Why Roy de los Santos?
You're wasting your time,
City
Roy.
Commissioner.
Yeah. What's your best pitch? You got a couple of minutes.
My record speaks for itself. I go toe-to-toe with the city every time I disagree with them. And 9 times out of 10, I come out on top. And that's the same type of fight I will bring for the citizens of Brownsville if I'm their commissioner.
Well said.
I like it.
Stay thirsty, my friend. All righty.
I like it. Do you like it? I like it. I like it a lot. Do you like it a lot? I like it a lot.
Yes, thank you so much, Roy, for coming and clearing things up. Hopefully you cleared up enough. I think you went above and beyond clearing up whatever those couple of issues are important to some people. And I know important to some groups that are out there that they may have their reservations. But I hope that people can see beyond just the G word. And there's a lot more to Roy than just the G word. And just like anyone, people even that are not the G word, people that are not gay, what does it matter? You know, somebody's divorced or somebody's,
it shouldn't matter anything to anybody. What happens behind closed doors is nobody's damn business.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, 99%. Obviously, there are things that well, if somebody's shady, you know, at home with the family,
you got
and
them
they're
shady bitches out there. There's no denying that.
Yeah, if you're shady, you know, in life, and then you want to be in public office, well, then I could see where, yeah, it would matter. But but if you're not, here, David says you're a gangster.
OG.
5 more minutes stretch. Okay. Anyway, that part of it is over. Thank you, Roy, for coming on as a candidate.
Well, let me say one more thing, because this is one of the other things that's been talked about, which is still part of the LGBTQ. But some of the comments I've heard is that the pride flag being flown on city property divides the city.
Yeah. So one of the things on that was that one of the concerns was that you wanted to put the gay flag everywhere, the LGBTQ flag on every building or on, you know, major areas in the city, everywhere. That's what Roy wants to do.
Well, maybe only during Pride Week or Pride Festival or something.
Pride Month. And yeah, but that has nothing to do with my running for city commissioner. That has to do with the work of the LGBTQ task force. And again, I think it's people that don't know and are unfamiliar and have fear of the unknown. The flag is just about equality. It is not saying gay people matter more than everybody else. That's not what this flag represents. It's about, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of who you are, regardless of everything that makes you unique, we are all equal. So how anyone can say that a flag that is about equality for all divides a city, the only way that could be true is if part of the city does not believe in equality.
And trust me, people, there is not like a pledge allegiance to the rainbow flag of LGBTQ alphabet community. There is not one. There's not a pledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not a conversion drive. You know, you're not trying to.
Conversion drive.
Exactly.
I don't know what else to call it, but it's yeah.
Oh,
Well, I'm
sweet
glad you
Jesus.
brought that up about the flag because
Yep.
for a little while that was. I know they had a fit when it went up at the Convention and Visitors Bureau right over on 802.
The silly mistake they made was whoever stole the flag, when they stole it on the last night of the month, it was coming down the next morning. But because they stole it, then we had 3 or 4 more days in the news valley-wide about this incident. So it kept Pride Month going for almost an extra week.
Yeah.
And, you know, for a $10 flag, I've already got 4 more ready to go. But well worth the publicity.
So going speaking on that, someone said that they had the reason they had a problem with that was that they did not want to fly the flag in support of PD, the blue line.
Oh, we
And
absolutely should.
yeah, I did not. I don't know if that's a fact that they would not fly that, but you know, yes, they're flying the pride flag. So I don't have that on that whether or not that was a fact or not. Somebody might have just said, "Well, they won't fly the PD flag."
No, and if that's true, then that's ridiculous, and that's something I'll absolutely fight against, because just like we honor so many people in our community, you know, we honor those fighting breast cancer during the month of October. We honor veterans. We honor those that gave their lives in service to the country. I think the same thing. We should be honoring the men and women who put their lives on the line, whether it's with the fire department, whether it's with the police department, and those flags should be flown at designated times throughout the year.
Agreed, 100% agreed. You're welcome to come back here at any time. I will reach out to Jessica and see if we can. I'll have her on the program also, as long as she's willing, just like you did tonight.
Yep.
And then at some point, I will put together a debate event and see if she's up for that, and I will fill you in on that.
And Erasmo.
Yes, I'll reach out to Erasmo also. Joe says, as a military man, Roy exemplifies the natural leader quality.
Thank you.
And yes, I do see that, actually.
Thank you.
I do see that. You know, sometimes you're able to spot people who will, you know, they say take the ball and run with it. And
Right.
You kind of have that in you. You already, and I mean, it helps that you're kind of in the system somewhat, a little bit. And that helps for sure.
It does. I've got a lot of experience, and I've learned a lot of it on the inside. So that definitely works to my advantage, because I can put that knowledge to use. But I am a hard ass. And, you know, one of the mottos I live my life by, and this was my grandfather, and this is not the grandfather I just lost in January. This grandfather I lost back in the 90s. This is on mom's side of the family. And Grandpa's, one of his favorite sayings was, "Don't take shit from no son of a bitch." And I apologize for the profanity, but that was what my grandfather said. And I live by that, because it's about standing up for what's right versus what's wrong. And you're not going to let anybody stand in the way of that. And I take that to heart, and I live by that every day in my life. And that's how I've accomplished as much as I've accomplished in life. And that's how I will be a great commissioner for the citizens of Brownsville if they give me the chance.
I like it.
Yep. I think, you know, that's how it should be in life. You know, if more people did that, there wouldn't be a cancel culture.
That's right.
You know, or if there would be, they wouldn't be successful at anything. You know, we still have monuments and statues up and rocks and, you know, all that mess. I think, you know, one of the things that I am disappointed with the mayor that he did allow that to happen.
Which one?
The removing the rock from Washington Park over there.
Well, the one thing I'll say about the rock, and this is public record, you know, I was on that panel when the town hall was held. I wasn't running that meeting, but I was there in my capacity as chairman of the Midi-Cultural District at the time, since this was in the Midi-Cultural District. And I know I've heard a lot of talk that now that they've got the rock, now they're going to come after the Robert E. Lee Youth Room.
Yeah.
And I would disagree with that 100%. And there's a couple of reasons that I differ on the Robert E. Lee Youth Room versus the rock. The rock, one, was not original to Washington Park. So there's absolutely no historical significance to it being in that location, because it was originally on Palm Boulevard to be a marker for a highway that was never built. So there's no historical significance to keeping it in Washington Park, number one. Number two, Jefferson Davis towards the end of his life. He never, after the Civil War, wanted to bring the country back together and say, no, yes, I'm an American and proud of it. He was to the very end, nope, I'm Confederate, I'm against this. And that was just him to the end. As where Robert E. Lee was very different. Robert E. Lee worked to get back into the fabric of America and keep this country moving forward as one nation. And even though we had a difference of opinion at one point, or they had a difference of opinion at one point, at the end, they came together. And Robert E. Lee did that. So despite bad judgment at one time with the Confederacy, he shouldn't be judged solely on that. We should look at the man as a whole. And if he was able to recognize his mistakes and try and make up for them, we should be willing as Christians to forgive.
100% on that. That's for sure. Wanted to bring up some of these stories that I've put up and get your take on these.
Sure.
And these are just random things, not necessarily political or anything like that.
Oh, and one more thing on the Rock. The Rock, where it belongs at Palmetto Hill. That's where the last battle of the Civil War happened. That's an appropriate spot for it. I don't know where it ended up. That's where, in my opinion, it should have gone. And I wrote a letter to the commission back then making that recommendation.
I wonder what they are going to do with that rock. Is it just going to be put away somewhere until they decide what they want to do with it? It's just storage.
No idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna says that was a huge issue here in Pennsylvania. They wanted to fly the rainbow flag and a cannabis leaf flag, but not the thin blue line flag. It's not. It got ugly. Yeah, I would bet.
In that sense, it should get ugly because, you should not be showing preferential treatment to one group and not the other. And especially when you're talking about, the blue and the red, that's not even about niche groups or interests. That's about the men and women who protect all of our freedoms.
And doesn't it get ridiculous? I mean, if you bow to everyone, that flagpole is going to be 100 feet tall with, 25 flags on it.
Right.
A cannabis flag has absolutely no business being flown anywhere except outside a crackhead store where you buy the shit. It's the only place that flag needs to be.
Yeah, that's where I would draw the line. That's not a major social issue right there.
Yeah.
Lupito says vote for Roy.
Thank you.
Lupito got
Lupito.
that. So there was an issue that came up on earlier in the week. Ellen DeGeneres announced that she was closing down her show. Her show was ending.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yep.
My God, there is a God. Hallelujah.
I don't know. The only thing I've heard about that she was mean and she was a bully and all this kind of stuff. I mean, did you ever watch the show? You have any opinions on that at all?
I watched it very little. The only opinion I would have is it makes sense. I can understand where after doing something for so long, you might want to change up the routine. And yeah, especially if you're in a position where you're probably filthy rich because you've been making money off the show for so long. It's not important to keep the check coming in. You want to do something that fulfills you more. So I can respect that.
Israel at war. I guess your opinion doesn't need to be made public. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. I mean, do you stand with Israel on this?
Yes. And in fact, that's one of the things I say constantly when I talk about Donald Trump. One of the things I absolutely give him credit for is moving that embassy to Israel. I think that was a very wise move, and I'm disappointed that leaders prior to Donald Trump did not do that sooner.
Yeah, they always talked about it, but it never happened.
Exactly. Well, I respect him for that. That's how our
government is. It's a whole lot of talking and no freaking action.
Yep.
Yeah, too much. People will still deny because they don't like him personally. They will not even look at all these accomplishments that he did. I mean, that moving the flag to Jerusalem, that was done I think it was done in the first 100 days, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think you're right.
I mean, it was done fast and it happened fast. And they said, what did he say? Oh, it's not going to cost $2.5 million. We'll do it for a couple $100,000 or something like that. And I don't know what he did, but he got that thing done.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what matters is getting stuff done.
Yes.
People are tired of stuff not getting done. And I think this time around in Brownsville, people are just maybe starting to wake up to the fact that, you know what, we do need a change. And I really hope that's happening because things do need to change, and let you guys come out and vote. But then I say that, but then nobody goes out to vote, so it's like,
Right.
like, you know, what's the point?
Can we have our $1.50 a gallon gas back and the mean tweets? I mean, seriously.
You know what? You want to
I'd
say
rather
mean
have
tweets?
the mean tweets and $1.50 a gallon gas than this pedophile president we have puppeteer running shit.
Yeah. Have you seen that? Have you seen that the fuel prices going up with this administration? To me, you know, I'm not exactly sure, because every time you're getting into summer, gas prices kind of creep up a little bit.
Right.
Before every summer season, without fail, forever. So, you know, I'm more concerned with once we're in summer and getting out of it, then you'll see what happens for me to make that judgment.
It's not going to go below $2 or $3 a gallon again. It
Well,
might
we
hit
know
301.
that oil is it's a global commodity, and we know when OPEC producing nations cut back their production to increase the prices so that their margins improve, that affects the prices even on our side.
But it didn't affect our prices that much when we were self-sustaining energy country. We were actually selling this shit and making money.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden you got creepy Joe, sleepy, whatever the hell you want to call this pedophile guy in here attempting to pretend like he's running shit. Our gas here in Illinois in the past 30 days, our gas prices has gone up 75 cents.
And I will say, you know, with this hack of the pipeline, the fact that this one thing can do so much damage to one region of the country, to me, that shows the need for additional pipelines so that you don't have just one channel you're dependent on.
Right.
And I understand that's not popular with a lot of folks, but facts don't lie.
It's the safest way to move a product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quickly, efficiently.
They hacked that section. Guess what? Pull the switch this way. Now you got gas going the other way, fuel going the other way, oil going the other way.
That's right.
And that fixes that problem. You don't have to worry about truckers and filling trucks and not having enough drivers and that whole situation. I mean,
right.
It's a problem. Marisa says, "Yo sí le voy a Roy."
Gracias, Marisa.
Betty Rubble, I got to say, I don't live in your district, but it's hard voting the runoffs with great candidates. But Roy has also addressed so many great ideas, points, and concerns that I hope people do go out. And Betty, hi, Betty.
Thanks,
nice
Betty.
to see you. You know, and the problem is on Erasmo's show, on his show at night, for as many great ideas as you might have, or as good as a candidate as you sound, people are just afraid to tell that to him. You know, they're afraid to go on and go, yeah, you know what? Roy's got a lot of good points. And, you know, if I was in that district or I lived there, I'd say, yeah, I might vote for him. And just people don't want to say that to him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, his crowd of people will go on the attack on that one person. And Betty, I'm not saying that you're going to do that. I'm just saying, generally speaking, people don't like to go against, you know, it's a clique, right? And it's nobody wants to stay. Yeah.
It's a bunch of mean girls is what it is. Call it what it is.
Yeah. So, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, I mean, there are some that'll come up and go, yeah, you know, I like what Roy has to say, but he's been saying what he's been saying for so long.
Yeah, Manny, have you heard my message change any? I mean, other than adding more of the LGBTQ aspect because it's become an issue, but on everything else, have you heard my message change at all?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's another thing. I know Erasmo made a comment on one of his shows that my message has changed. And he even said that at one point I was trying to distance myself from veterans. I don't know what the hell he's referring to. That would never happen. Both of my grandfathers are veterans. I've got family members who are veterans. I can't imagine what I possibly could have said that could have been misinterpreted that way. So I challenge him to produce whatever it is he based that claim on.
Like I said, show me the evidence.
Exactly.
And then we can have a conversation.
Yep.
Sean, well, go fill some lawn bags and leaf bags with gas at $3 a gallon and hoard it. Save yourself $5. Don't blow yourself up. Have you seen some of those videos and photographs of people filling up ridiculous containers?
And I saw a headline today where a woman, and I don't know if it was like some huge container on a trailer, but she was hoarding gas and had an accident and ended up catching on fire.
Yeah, did it blow up or did it just catch on fire? Bam, you posted something on that, didn't you?
No, I didn't post any of the fires. Wednesday when I did the show, I posted the videos and the pictures of all the people hoarding it in unapproved containers, so it's not vented properly. And if it's not vented, well, once again, you have a bomb.
Yeah.
It's just so unsafe what people are doing, and for no reason either. None of this is necessary.
Well, and yeah, down here there's no shortage. We've got plenty of gas.
And if there is a shortage, it's because people freaked out over a couple of days and they went and hoarded all the gas. Once the trucks get here, they'll be back to normal.
I have not come across a station that was completely out of gas yet, and I've filled up, I think, twice this week.
Even though I don't bedroll again, even though I don't vote that district, but I do tell people I know that live there to go out and vote. We need Boca Chica and Alton Gloria and further focused on and not forgotten. Build a great city. Totally
Amen.
agree.
Absolutely.
Bam. What does Biden bashing have to do with the city commission race? Yeah, he's just, if you watch the show on any occasion, that's just going to come out here and there.
It is.
You can't help it. We can avoid it for like a long time, but then it'll just come out.
Trust me, I try not to talk about him. I don't like the guy. I don't want him sniffing me. I mean, if he gets around me and he wants to sniff me, I'll give him something to actually sniff. All
righty then. Charlie Brown says, "Bam, you're on point about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue." Diana McGee, we are veterans. Thank you for your service. And then Sean Reese, they were filling plastic totes. They were, yeah, I know. They were using all kind of stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
All righty. I think we're way beyond your record. And thank you for a very interesting, informative evening. I'm glad you were able to come on here. And we do appreciate it. I think everyone does appreciate you being what I believe for you to be is upfront and honest and, not shying away from anything.
Always will be. And I love your all show. As many times you guys want me back, I'll be here.
That's awesome. Sean says, "Bam, tell us how you really feel." And
well, Sean, I'm never going to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. I honestly think that's the way it should be. Obviously, in City Hall, you don't have to curse so much. You don't want to.
And I've toned it down today. How many times have I said "motherfucker"? I think that was the first time.
I think I've said this on your show before. Is that people get so worked up over curse words, but there's no commandment that says anything about using profanity. But there is a commandment that says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor," which basically boils down to "Thou shalt not lie." And we have people lying to us every single day, and nobody gets outraged about it. But you drop the F word one time, and people are in a panic.
Well, and
or the MF word.
I think there's a commandment about "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's ass."
Yes, there is.
Close. You're close on that one.
I'm sure it means the donkey. It doesn't mean
exactly.
Yes.
Oh, the donkey. Oh my goodness. Betty Rubble, great show. Oh, hang on. She said something else here. Mandy, are you picking on me? No, I'm not. Just kidding. Missed you. And Osmo and I have disagreed at many times, but still stay friends.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I hope he's civil with everybody. I know he is. I think he uses a love word too much or friends to people he's really not friends with. I've never met 99% of you. You guys comment on the program all the time. I love you for that. I love my fans, and so I love the fans. And as a people, obviously, I love everybody. I don't want anybody to be hurt for any reason at all whatsoever. But just stay real. That's what I say. Stay real. Don't drink a Kool-Aid necessarily. Stay real and ask questions. Just like you guys did. You have been doing over the last couple of weeks, and some of you did tonight. Glad you did, and I'm glad Roy is there he's up to the task. He's not returning from it.
That's right.
So I got a couple of tidbits to share.
All right, go ahead. Roy's getting a little sleepy-eyed there. I can tell.
I'm excellent. I got my second wind.
So,
boy.
I was bebopping around Chicagoland area today. I happened to pick up a couple of young boys that were in the Navy, and I had to take them up to Gurney Mills, which is an outlet mall. And we got to talking about, what's going on and how the U.S. Naval is handling the coronaviruses and everything. And he says that him and his pal there were really excited because they actually got to go someplace and leave the base because they're fully vaccinated. And but they did have to obey the civilian laws on the masks and shit. And he was stated that when they are deployed, all they do is go sit out at sea for 9 or 10 months and then come back to a U.S. port. So they don't even go to another port in another country. They just go sit out at sea for 10 months, turn around and come back. That's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, extremely rough.
That is rough. You know, this whole COVID thing, and this was one thing I want to talk to you about. Again, not officially, we're done with the official interview part, if you want to call it that. You know, I'm a believer that COVID has killed so many people because they had some kind of underlying condition, whether it was public or whether the poor guys or poor women had no idea they had an underlying condition, but it killed them. And I think young people are strong enough. Their immune systems are just on overdrive. That's why young people are not dropping like flies. I'm a big believer in go back to school, send everybody back to school. And I know people are not, at least here in Texas, is one of the few states left that are not sending kids back to school yet, or, you know, not cutting the homeschooling thing and just go back to school for face-to-face learning. What is your stance on that? Are you with the, you know, keep them at home still, or, I mean, I'm assuming that's what your opinion is, being that, I mean, you're still going to wear a mask, but, you know,
No,
we're talking about kids, the kids mentally and socially need to interact.
Yes.
And they've been home way too long. And I think that's hurting more than this COVID would actually hurt them. I think they're strong enough to fight it off. I think they should get immunizations.
Yes.
So hopefully they wouldn't pass it on, even if they did get it and they were asymptomatic. But I think it's time to go back to school.
I agree with you. And in fact, one of my boards just had our first in-person meeting since the pandemic started. And we agree that there's something lost when you're not having that face-to-face personal contact and interaction with one another. So I don't disagree with you one bit on that. I would like to still see some type of a hybrid where those that are absolutely not comfortable doing it yet, or that when you've got kids that do have some underlying health conditions, there's a virtual or a distance learning option for them and still in place. But yeah, I'm all for schools opening up again with protocols and safety measures, of course. But yeah, I think a hybrid that way, it's back to everybody's got a right to choose.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, kids that got all this energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty much confined to their home at least 8 or 10 hours a day.
Yep.
And then afterwards, when parents are home or whatever the situation is, then they let them out. Or, you know, I don't know what the details are like that. But kids need to interact. I mean, what happens to kids when they're not talking to their friends, or only via voice, you know, via video chats or whatever, or FaceTime, that kind of thing? I mean, I hope there's no long-term damage. I mean, it's too soon for any of that data to show up. But I'd be a miserable kid if I couldn't leave the house. And I never went to school again and saw my friends, except for, you know, going to the grocery store. Or, you know, I wonder how many families are actually have their families on lockdown. Because all the times that I've been at the HEB and Walmart, there have been families all together, 6, 8 of them, or whatever it may be.
And I really think the supermarkets at the height of this really should have tightened down and said, you know what, one person. And I hated seeing people also when they're walking through the aisles on their phone, because if they're talking, that means they're putting something out there. If they've got the virus, they're spreading it as they walk down the aisle. Like, just go in there, focus on your shopping, get your stuff, get out. But be considerate of other shoppers, for the love of God. And yeah, you don't need to be bringing your kids in tow.
Yeah, I know. And you know, and I know they're wearing masks and all that stuff, but I think go into the store, get what you got to get, and get out.
Yeah.
don't wander around for 45 minutes when you just need a loaf of bread. You know, I mean, the classic story, you go in there for $5 and you come out with $40. So, okay, so I get it, but at least just go do what you're going to do and then leave. You know what I mean? Don't hang around the store.
Our schools here where I live, they have put out memos to the children since they're like leaving for the summer. They put out memos and letters to all the parents that said in the fall, we are 100% in-person learning. There will be no remote learning. So our school system here is already planning on 100% in-person learning.
And that's for the fall, you know, and that was the other part of it. I've talked with the ladies from AOBE here in Brownsville, and it's like maybe they should have just said, you know what, everybody stay home, come back in the fall of 2021 in the fall, and let time pass, let everyone get vaccinated, let the COVID thing die down, and the cases go down, hospitalizations go down, and you know maybe by that time it's safer to go back to class. But I don't know. There's money involved, and the state is involved, and you know I got a feeling it becomes a money issue also.
Well, supposedly, even if they're remote learning, like over Zoom or Skype or whatever the hell it's called, that is counting as in class, and the state is paying for that student to be there.
That might be true up there. I want to say Texas is taking a different posture on that and was threatening to cut funding if the schools did not require the kids to be in the classroom.
Really?
Yes, that's what I heard. Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Charlie Brown says there are positive cases daily at BISD. I know, I'm there. No, it's not time, unfortunately. There is no face-to-face. We are teaching to a laptop, even with students in class.
That's good to know. Thank you for that, Charlie, especially from somebody who's there on the front lines.
Yeah, and see, but then you go to, I mean, are you concerned about the kids getting sick and dying, or them infecting people at home?
Both.
Because there's no evidence to show that kids are dropping dead. You know, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
and believe me,
one or two here and there, but yeah, they're not dropping like flies.
It has happened. I'm not saying it has not happened. However, they're not dying by the hundreds on a daily basis.
No, but they can be spreaders.
But is that even happening? You know, I mean, it's just, again, it goes back to kids' immune systems are strong enough to fight this thing off, but you got to give it a chance. You can't hide your immune system from everything and expect it to be strong once you bring it and enter back into society. You know, you have to get a cold, you have to get a flu or whatever here and there, and your body learns how to fight this stuff off.
Well, sitting in a house for a year is not doing anything for your immune system. You need to be outside in the sun, getting the vitamin C and everything else to build that immune system.
Yeah, Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. My kids are under 12, so until I can vaccinate them, then face-to-face is good. I had COVID-19. I don't want to get it again, nor do I want it spreading to our older family members. My kids are fine with virtual socialization. It should be a personal choice. So he may have comorbidity issues. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if, again, this is thinking about the kids' health, their mental health, you know, to be sociable with children. And if you're not going to do it at school, if you're going to do it privately or somewhere at a park, or, I mean, what's the difference if you're going to do it privately, not at school, versus doing it at school? I don't know, I guess. And one way to see it is, let's do it and see what happens. And, you know, I will say I fly all the time. I'm on an airplane. I live in an airplane. And guess what? People are not dropping dead at every destination for weeks. And, you know, nobody's dying from being on an airplane. Everybody wears their mask. Everybody's shoulder to shoulder sitting on the airplane. But people are not dying by the thousands because they caught it. They got COVID on an airplane from somebody who had COVID. People have flown with COVID, but you see what I mean? The numbers don't add up.
Right. So
something is not right. And I think given a chance and everyone back to school, and yes, obviously, if you believe in the vaccine, you get vaccinated. But I think it's time. I personally think it's time for the kids to go back I think I would want my kids to go back knowing that we're healthy. And this is also a good time to get your kids do physicals. It's time to do a checkup. I mean, A to Z, blood work. Let's see what everybody's health is like. Maybe you'll find some stuff that you would not normally find, for years until something came up. But that's just my opinion, and my humble opinion.
Well, boys, I hate to say this, but I got to call it a night. I'm beat.
A couple more here, and then we're
out of here. I'm going to go out with one planet, one people. Have a great night, guys. Love you. And I will see you Monday.
Hang on, Bam. Hold on, Bam. Hang on. We're going to get out of here in a second. I've been in campus since they let teachers back on campuses last school year. I have students I work very close with, and I will do summer school. I love my job, but kids are losing social skills badly. I understand that, Betty. Let me get a few more comments here, Bam, and we'll all go out together. How's that?
Okay.
Shonda, I have to go. Have a spectacular Sunday. You too.
Good night, Shonda.
Charlie Brown, Texas is paying for attending class either in person or virtually. As long as they participate, the district gets funds. That is a fact for BISD. So no kids, then no money. So that's basically what it comes down to. Lupito, but still, nobody wants to get COVID, even if we can survive. Yeah, I understand that. I'm not saying, obviously, nobody wants to get it. I don't want anybody to get it. Go, Roy, go.
Thank you.
And then finally, we got a couple more here. I hear teachers and administrators that have said they would never get the vaccine. Wondering if they would change their mind if they were required, like they are requiring teachers to be bilingually certified. Yeah, I don't know. How do you stand on that? If you're required by a school district?
Yeah, it's
a
different
tough one.
It's a tough one because the school district is a public entity. If it was a private school, I'd say the school has every right to say you need to get vaccinated. That would be my opinion. But a public school, I think that one we'd have to leave to the courts to decide whether or not they have a right to force that or not.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan for anybody getting forced to get vaccinated. Even in my position, in the company I work in, my industry, I'm not a fan of forced vaccinations. But yeah, that's not an easy issue. Charlie Brown says, "Man, you've never been to a school. You haven't been to a school in some time. Kids now socialize online. Believe me, they're okay if they're home for now. I believe hopefully in August we go back 100%. I know they socialize online, but there's something about being behind a computer screen or your phone screen. It's not the same as being face-to-face. Totally different ball game. Marisa, night. Great show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. All right.
Thanks,
we're going to call it a night. Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us on this 3.5-hour program.
Record.
Yeah, now we're going to have a new record to break now, sometime between now and May 19th, June 19th. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bam, thanks for staying awake for a few more minutes here, buddy.
Yep. One planet, one people.
There you go.
Hasta luego.
Ro, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. Good luck to you in the elections, and we will talk again. I'll be in touch once I talk to Jessica and Erasmo, and we'll get something going there.
Thank you, guys. See you again soon.
Everyone, thank you for hanging out with us on Saturday night. We will see you Monday night. See you Monday night. Everyone have a great weekend. Ciao.